Hello and welcome to episode 380 something of the DCP plus SideQuest podcast. Welcome back, Myelin.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
I was like,
contract.
when you started saying the episodes, like, oh my god, Bright knows the episode. And these are 380 something. I was like, oh, no,
Does it even matter?
Let's go.
Doesn't even matter what episode.
Me.
No, doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
Feels like home.
It does
like,
if you're catching up on him.
Myelin, what have you been up to lately? It's been so long.
Yeah, what have
since
you
I've seen
been
last.
doing? Having an existential crisis?
Pretty
Oh,
much.
been
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all there. Been there.
I actually did make a video kind of summarizing my experience of the last 4 months on the main channel. Yeah, the reason I left, obviously, I was looking at doing variety content, other stuff to do. I started a second channel, a bit like Dado did. Had a fair bit of success with the Helldivers, like videos doing 1 million views, 2 million views on on Helldivers. I think the
On the
first
second
video did
channel?
500,000 views on the second channel.
Mhm.
Wow, that's great.
I've put out 72 videos since February on the second channel. I've done 5 videos on the main channel.
Do we need to
What is the
rethink
main
which one is
channel
the
cover,
main
Myelin?
channel?
What game is that?
The main channel is the Destiny channel, which doesn't always seem like the main channel all the
I've
time.
heard of that game.
Yeah. Got a very nice perspective of, honestly, I was too deep into Destiny and it was really needed for me to just like not play Destiny for a while and realize a bunch of stuff. That's kind of when I went over my video. Like I talked about how I think I blamed a lot of things like on like the just toxic traits, like that being a Destiny thing. And then I went and played Helldivers and other communities and realized actually it's just a gamer thing. There's that one type of person that
Actually, Myelin, I think it's just a people thing.
You're right. You're right. It's a people thing. Yes. And
Gamers have their special DNA, yeah.
but I think when you spend like 10 years in a single game, in a single community, it's really easy to attribute negativity to being in that niche, and it obviously wasn't. Like I literally could take all the negative and hate comments that I got on Helldiver videos and replace it with Destiny, and it's that same goblin of a person that's unhappy with whatever.
I got a question for you, Myelin.
Unhappy
Why
with
are you
Destiny,
reading
unhappy with
comments? Why do you do that?
I mean, well, I spoke about this too. The thing is, when you start a new channel and you got no bloody views, you do have to engage with people. You do have to read comments. You have to kind of get feedback and kind of care. And that's kind of the hard thing with starting something from scratch is caring and not caring at the same time. Like taking bits of feedback you need and taking bits that you don't need, and then trying to filter out, negativity. And a lot of that stuff I obviously had forgotten since I've been doing Destiny for so long and had an established channel and the things you take for granted. So, I'm in a much better place with doing variety. I'm still going to be running both channels. I still need to work out Twitch to try to be on the podcast a bit more regularly, but I wanted to come on today because Final Shape trailer dropped, and obviously we're playing a lot of Final Shape.
Final Shape, the game dropped.
Doing it.
So
Yeah, right.
Myelin actually said he's actually covering the entire story of Destiny 2 and Destiny 1. All
I've actually got an 8 hour.
It's 1 hour less than Bite, so you should watch it.
It's the abridged version.
8 hours and 10 minutes.
For your Destiny fan on the go, we got the 8-hour version.
Yep.
You know when I heard that, I was like, I'm so glad I didn't put thousands of dollars into doing my version of everything Destiny did, because it would just be swallowed up. Yeah, sorry, you won't see a summary from me about everything that's happened in Destiny for the last 10 years.
Did he really make a 9-hour video? Like for real?
He is. Yeah, he's putting out a 9-hour video about the whole Destiny story.
It's gonna be crazy when
I'm gonna watch that over many weeks.
Yeah, it would be crazy when we finish the raid and then like Zavala wakes up. He's like, "Man, it's just all your work down the drain. It was just a dream, man.
It was all a dream.
It was all a Vex simulation. It was all a Vex simulation.
Oh, they'll pull an Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Yeah.
And it won't matter. And then that story won't matter anymore. That's how they make it, we go forward.
We went into a coma in the first scene of Destiny, and we've been dream sequencing everything ever since. And that's why we're always the hero. We're always the guardian. We're always saving the day.
Yes.
It works. Oh, where do we start?
Oh man. Do we want to start with the trailer, or do you want to start with State of Play and go to the trailer after State of Play?
Do we want to do Destiny first or State of Play first? Because State of Play was the
I would
big
vote
thing.
Destiny only because like it's the week before launch.
Okay,
That's
it
fair.
is the week before
Yeah.
launch. That's true.
Yeah.
What'd you guys
Throw
think of the
them
new trailer?
It
Lots
was
of
awesome.
cutscenes, lots of
It was
cinematics.
very good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
liked it.
I liked right at the beginning how they showed people. I assume that was the last city. Was that the last city, Myelin, that those people were in, or was
It
that
looked
like?
like the last city? Yeah.
I thought it was
looked
the last city.
city,
That's
yeah.
not a view you get too
Hey.
much of Destiny, right? It's the people that you are there to protect.
Yeah.
And I wish you did get that more, because I feel like it would connect you more with the world and like make the stakes feel higher for kind of all the adventures we go on. But it was nice to see that. Like, I really enjoyed that right at the get-go.
Yeah, it was either the last city or it was Anthem. Either one.
Oh, why you gotta
Anthem
Why you gotta
crossover.
hurt my
Did
boy?
you get any Anthem vibes from that?
That
Now that
is
you
what
mention
that
it.
is what the Anthem like city looked
Oh,
like.
it was
yeah.
It was.
Revelation in Anthem. That's right.
Yeah.
We're all getting
there you go.
javelins on June 4th.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I think seeing the last city like that, I think Destiny's always been held back by the T14, and the laws have always been more mature than that. And kind of seeing
True.
that kind of fear and chaos spread through like the civilian population is a bit more of a mature theme that you don't really see in Destiny that often. You know, Guardians die, but they just resurrected kind of deal. And I think that really elevates the severity of like the final shape and what's at stake. So yeah, good way to start the cutscene, I reckon.
Yeah, tell me if my overall impression was right. And again, I'm no lore expert, so great to have Myelin back, who will always know everything that happened in Destiny 2. But yeah, my impression was like, okay, they're just setting up much better. Like the Witness has kind of been toying with us for a long time, and now in the Pale Heart of the Traveler, like it's all lies, deception, what is real, what is not. And seemingly, and we'll talk about it, as some really big stakes seems to be deceiving folks like Zavala, maybe playing with emotions with Cade, even, etc. It seemed that was the whole theme of, is the Traveler whispering into your ear going to win over some of these folks. But that's what I got from the whole theme.
Yeah, the Witness whispering, like deceiving. Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of notes here we can go through bit by bit. I guess starting at the beginning with the city looking like it was being destroyed, or more accurate, like everything freezing into place. I think that is like a hint at what the final shape, like the Witness's version of the final shape is, which we haven't really had confirmation of before. If you've been following along the lore, there's been lots of different versions of what the final shape is, and we just kind of know that the Witness wanted to end everything. You know, that's how they're gonna bring salvation, bring an end to everything. That was kind of as much detail as we got, and this kind of feels like a freeze death of everything, like everything to be frozen in place kind of deal, and that's the final shape. And yeah, when everyone can't move, then there's no more pain and suffering, and that's how they're going to bring salvation. So that's yeah, it's obviously a very different definition from the Hive had of their version of final shape, where you just have like a pinnacle ruler that, you know, is stronger than everything else. You have the perfect form of the universe. This is like, yeah, the end of everything. I think the big question is that a vision? Is that a vision of the last city being destroyed and Earth being destroyed? Because they have like an overview of Earth, like kind of tearing apart. Probably would assume it's a vision, because that would involve getting rid of like Cosmodrome and like EDZ and like playable spaces. But I mean, imagine if they did. I mean, I don't think they would. But
or could that be like the last thing we see as we're flying through the portal, like to go to the raid, and then like once we destroy the Witness, and like once we destroy the Witness, like time resumes, like it was supposed to. Like,
I mean, it'd be nice if that happened and then it got undone when we win. I think that would kind of be cooler than like a vision sequence. But
yeah,
there's kind of a lot of clues that imply it's a vision. Like the song playing is literally "I Have a Dream," and then a lot of the stuff is like they very much seem like Zavala hallucinating and like being teleported to different areas, which I mean, it could also be inside the Traveler too. It could be inside the Traveler. There could be like a vision inside the Traveler that's coming true, because that's what the Witness wants, right? And
did you have the?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you have the note on what Ikora says about Witnesses reshaping? I didn't know if you wrote that. It seems to go.
Yeah, I don't have the exact quote, but yeah, that's what I mean when I talk about the final shape. Like, yeah. I don't.
Meaning, it feels like she's describing an actual event. No.
I think there's also like hands and arms and all that like body horror in the trailer too. Like in the city, you see like a flick of it. So I did think that it could be. Remember inside the Traveler in the Pale Heart, memories like shape the landscape, which is why there's lots of familiar things there that we see. But I'm also assuming that maybe the Witness, wants and needs and memories also shape what might happen. So you could see like a Last City being destroyed in there. Maybe that's what they're saying.
I gotta say, I really enjoyed seeing more of the Witness, and it's given me hope for the future of the Witness. So I now
survive.
I have more faith in the Witness as a villain after the recent trailers that we've had. So I hope that they do get fleshed out in the way that I'm hoping, because I want them to be menacing, like menacingly terrifying enemy.
Yeah, I think the whole veiled statues did a good job at adding a bit more
cool
thriller to the Witness. I mean, we don't know what they are yet. My interpretation, I was yelling at Chad about this morning, is I think that they are representative of all the people that became the Witness, the original population that were in like veiled cloaks and stuff in that black and white cutscene that we first got. And they, like are whispering to Zavala and stuff like that. And they all fall down behind Zavala. And that was, to me, like representing them becoming the Witness. They all fall down. They go into darkness and they become the Witness. But there's so much lore and different things surrounding those veiled statues. It could be anything. It could be something else as well. And they also
that was
are
one of the
all
best
female
shots
statues.
of the trailer.
So I don't know.
Oh my god, that shot with them holding the piece of merit, that was so cool.
I sort of had a gasp reaction for whatever reason, because it just seems so ominous, but conceptual.
And like shining it on Zavala's face of like, come here, Zavala, here's your wife.
Yeah.
And
you see him like, what is he doing? He's reaching through, this door of darkness, or like, do we know what that?
I mean, it looks like
is it like metaphorically, like going to the Witness, or is it?
Well, wasn't Ikora just saying like it shows us what we want?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that is kind of like the Witness saying, "I'm gonna freeze everyone, right? But you can be inside this dream. This dream could be reality. You can leave reality. I'm gonna freeze the world. I'm gonna end suffering, and you can live with your wife again, like up here in your head."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The line I pulled that she says is, "It's reshaping reality into a perfect stillness."
Yes, perfect stillness. Yeah. So maybe that's what the Witness is trying to offer. Like maybe the Witness is saying, like, this reality will be gone, but I'm presenting to you the one that you want, and you can live it out in your head with your.
I don't know. I'm kind of switching over to Team Witness here.
Yeah, Matrix. Plug me in. Yeah, plug me in. Send me up. Beat me up.
At one point in the trailer, Cade's like you said, it spoke to you. That's when we see that shot, the mirror.
Such a cool shot.
Yeah,
I really need Bungie to make just like a full-on horror game, and I need them to just have it be 18 plus. They don't have to hold anything behind, because they are so good at suspension and atmosphere and all of that. So good. They're so good at it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like now that they're owned by Sony, you look at like Helldivers as well. Like Helldivers, you shoot bugs all the time. There's blood and guts and things dismembered and heads explode. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
Kind of wish we had that.
Yeah,
maybe that'd be too far in Destiny if you like chopping off Elixir's arms.
I mean,
shooting their legs off.
Don't look, Busker Man. Don't look.
They've done a pretty
That'll
good
grow
job
back. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, a separate franchise. See him.
Yeah.
So much.
We also saw Amanda's like bandana or scarf or whatever it is, like on Zavala's.
We did see that.
I didn't
Yeah.
catch
Zavala's
I
shoulder,
catch that.
carrying her memory into battle. We saw Kate
didn't
standing in front of a dead
say
body.
like I'm sick of seeing friends die right before she got shot?
Yeah.
Sick of burying my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sick of burying friends. Yep.
Cade 6 was standing in front of a body covered in a white cloth.
It's the like Vanguard cloth.
I was like, was that himself or like what is
it's like Guardian Memorial stuff. Well, originally I thought he was standing in front of Aldrin, but I went back and checked the footage because Aldrin only has a white. I knew Aldrin had like a white sheet over top of him, but it didn't have all the Vanguard like golden embroidery.
I thought it was us the first time I saw it because when we, did the corridors of time, we kind of had like the Vanguard burial thing on top of us. So I thought it was us, and then I was like, maybe it's just Kate. Maybe it's just standing.
Could be Kate.
We don't think we know.
No, we don't know. It could be Kate. It could be Amanda. It could be him. I don't think it would be Amanda though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
make
think
more
it's
sense for it to.
I think it's
be
us or
himself.
Kate. Yeah, because also it follows with the witness showing you stuff, right? So I'm like, does Cade love us that much that he's seeing like our grave? I don't know.
Well,
but I think
his
it's
gloves.
other Cade.
I think the gloves look like Cade's though, but I would have to go back and pause it properly.
Maybe it's a good time to ask then, like, what's the deal with the Ace of Spades being shattered, and later we see it like sort of glued back together with this
with shiny bits,
blue veins. And is this maybe related to? And did you guys see that at all? Like you see on the ground, right? It's the overgrowth of Cade's gun. It's shattered. That's what I thought I saw. And then later he's holding it up, and it's got like blue veins on it. And I didn't watch any breakdowns, I should say, so I apologize. It's like, yeah, everybody knows.
I'm not too sure about the shattered stuff, but you did bring up the season finale, the ship, because they had some ship lore on it, and kind of implied why Kate is there, and it's to do with Crow talking to the Kara Riven, who was disguised as Mara, and like accidentally wishing Cade back, which would be pretty like typical Kara wish to like twist a wish and
temporarily resurrected.
Have Cade meet Aldrin now. It's just like irony of ironies for him to go to meet Cade and have to work together with Cade in the Pale Heart.
Is it possible that in that situation that I forget what happened to his gun and stuff. Did it shatter? But anyway, would it put together a real gun back together, or is that all just imagery? I don't know.
I know.
I thought it was a really interesting part of the trailer that, like, you do see this overgrowth of aces. I'm quite sure.
Is it the prismatic colors? Is it the?
It's blue veins at the end.
Okay, so it's not like
you see it towards the end of the trailer. I'd have to find it, but you see him like running. It's when he's running with Aldrin. He's holding it up, and it's all the shattered gun is put back together. It's in there for a reason. I'm the last person you want to ask back, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. It got me thinking.
Didn't they say all of the weapons are like Ace of Spades like themed? They're all like card themed or something like that. I haven't been keeping up with a lot of the trailers.
That's true. There is a new exotic quest that they're talking about that you need to finish that we'll cover later.
Yeah,
the
Pale Heart weapons, they modeled them all after filling out the rest of the deck of cards. So you've got all of the different characters as different cards.
That's cool.
Yeah, if people want to see it in the trailer, by the way, it's almost precisely at 1:59 or 2 minutes. One area you see him. It's very in your face. He holds up. We don't need to dwell on it, but I thought that was cool and didn't want to get us off track. But I thought if it had anything to do with him maybe staring at himself as well, of like, could they be related?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What did you make of in all this too, of like Zavala was the biggest theme of like, they show him. We already knew about his wife and daughter, I think, right? And that was a past. But he's like,
Son.
The name? I don't know.
His son,
yeah.
Yep.
But he's the main theme of Ikora's like, don't do this, Zavala. Like literally, like he's being beckoned, and yeah.
I think this comes down to like a whole bunch of the story they've created around the Vanguard falling apart and what's happened. And I think Zavala's story is probably the most fleshed out as being someone who's gone from like a pillar of the last city to being quite vulnerable. And so I think they're just playing on that out of the Vanguard, if you could cause like Zavala to crumble, like he's got some weak points right now with his self-doubt and his leadership abilities and things that have gone wrong. Like he seems like a weak point for the witness to pick on to try to, undo our plans. And if you can get rid of Zavala and you can convince Zavala to like give up, which I think they're playing on that. He's close to giving up and sort of not wanting to be around anymore. So
the problem is I don't buy it for a minute though. Like I cannot buy that Bungie would allow Zavala to be corrupted, especially now.
Just for the campaign before they reverse the effects.
I just don't buy it. Like I don't see it happening.
I'm surprised you don't, because they've been, for quite a few years now, they've kind of been showing Zavala as just being really tired and just like over it. And it's so many times I've been like, it seems like he's going to retire. It seems like he's going to retire. Yeah. So I think he is a
I could see them killing him off. Like I can see that being the result of this, but I don't see him being like ultimately corrupted. Or if he is, it's only momentarily until he redeems himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you contrast that to like Ikora's response, like the way she's portrayed in the trailers, like she's like throwing Nova bombs, It's like, like get out of my head, Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Whereas Zavala's got a lot of weak points that have been fleshed out in the story that they can push buttons for, like his wife and his kid.
But it's a good point. I mean, they in a way though, they all almost have that though, right? Like Aldrin Crow has it, Ikora's had it, right, with letting people down in some ways, and
Ikora has had it to some extent, yeah.
And Zavala and almost like everybody that the stakes, they've got to be really high. Self-doubt.
Yeah, but Crow's kind of had his reversal, like he's had his arc and he's kind of like come back up again, like he's had his big dip and he's come back up.
Yeah,
to try to be a hero.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we
still
didn't
don't
get to
trust
see
him.
how Breyer felt about Crow after that trailer. We were like, God damn it, he's not here this week.
Still don't trust him.
Another related shot, which I don't know if you want to, you can say move it to later, but I mentioned before the show, when Cade turns around and he looks into like Lord of the Rings, like the doors open right after Zavala's moment of doubt. Now I thought I saw like a kid in the fiery streets, which I didn't know his past. And then chat was like, oh yeah, there's talk of he had a child. Like it's now a good time to touch on that.
His son Ace.
Yeah. It's been a while since I covered Cade's story. And I think the long story short is we don't know if he actually had the kid called Ace. Like he had memories of having a kid called Ace, but I think the twist was it could have been a memory implant by Clover Spray to help exos be more human. So we don't even know if the memory is true, but take that with a grain of salt. It's been a long time since I've looked at Cade's lore.
But I don't know if you guys spot, and even then, like that's just my interpretation of. I don't think everybody saw like a child's fire. I thought that's what I saw. It was very vague. So
well, I think that like brings up the maturity of the whole like cinematic. It's the same with like seeing civilians in the last city like fear, some sort of collapse, which is like always been very terrifying in the lore of just having, a global collapse of a whole system and the fear of, regular people having to deal with that. And I think when you start chucking kids into that cinematic too, like it makes that the stakes even higher, and then you contrast that with Zavala having a kid, Ace Cade having a memory of a kid, like it all becomes pretty personal.
Yeah, it never really mattered to me much if there was an actual kid for Cade or not. If Cade believed there was a kid, like the impact is still there, right?
Right. Yeah, whichever way.
And we know that Kay would be a very fun dad.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best parent, but he'd be very fun.
The cool dad, right?
Yeah.
He would definitely let
Sure,
you
you can shoot me gun.
You'd be
Yeah, why
trying
not?
alcohol at a pretty early age with Kate.
Yeah,
He's
you'd
like
be
that type of dad.
Yeah, you'd be gambling. There was another interesting thing with the planet with the astronaut on it that gets prismatic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
You
was
guys
looking
know?
at that, and I was just looking. Though it's exactly that. I was looking at, it and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the astronaut from the Destiny 1 stuff. Looks like he's going prismatic." And that was the end of my. It's like, what does it mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like it doesn't make sense, right? So obviously it's an astronaut, so it's not a guardian because guardians would be wearing guardian outfits. And guardian outfits, we take it to space as well. Because I had this question with chat today. I was like, wait a second, does our armor go in outer space? And everyone's like, yeah, remember Deep Stone Crypt? We didn't have to put like on a suit. It's not just armor. Like we could kind of fly around, right? So it's not that. So is this like is this before Guardians or is this like after Guardians? And is this like leaving the system? Because remember the travel like terraformed planets, right? So it made you could breathe on other planets that were previously like not habitable. So that's why you could kind of run around on other areas and they all have like similar gravities to Earth.
Yeah, I am interested in that because it was definitely the first Guardian that we've seen in all of like the Destiny 1 promo stuff, or like the first. I don't know if they're a Guardian. If they are like a first Guardian and they have prismatic, that seems very interesting from a story standpoint.
It didn't look like Earth though, did it? And if it was if it was a first Guardian, wouldn't they be dead and then revived again?
Could have a I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Definitely an astronaut. Definitely an astronaut because and a callback to D1.
And if it was if it was the first astronauts, it would have to be Mars because that's when they first discovered the Traveler. It doesn't give those. I don't know. It's a very weird thing. It doesn't
It was just
make sense to us right now, and I'm sure once we play it, it will make sense.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see that, it's actually right around 1 minute and 18 seconds. And as Watts taught me, you can actually keyframe on YouTube with the keyboard keys.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
But yeah, it's an astronaut like with the back to us staring at the moon, and then you see a little bit of this quick flashing. But yeah, then consumed suddenly with what looks like prismatic or transcendent.
I can bring it up actually. What was it on? What was that?
118 out of the trailer.
Yeah, that's
and again, like thematically, you go from like it's the moment where Zavala's reaching through the door, and there's quick flashes of his wife as sort of stone or and then you see this comes at the same time, and that's the only other thing I'd point out for if you guys have an interpretation. It's not only that you see this OG Traveler, you see the body we're talking about, which maybe that is part of the tell. You also see Cade.
It does.
By the way, a visual overlay storytelling, and I don't know what that means. Cade's body takes over face, so you go from facing the back of an astronaut to Cade facing you, taking the place. Now, you could read into that in the wrong way, but from a storytelling side, people use that. So there's a lot going on in those frames, but I would not know how to.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that Destiny needs to like leave our system to kind of feel really fresh for me again and like have new enemies, new planets, and technically it'd be like a Destiny 3, but it's not really Destiny 3. But I could never see that really happening. But this is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting saying
maybe it's
a non-Guardian getting prismatic on an unknown planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
But also worth noting is it comes, a second after Ikora's narration and all of this deception.
Well, you know
she
what,
says,
Fred?
It's a lie. so keep that in mind in a world of like, you can't trust anything.
I just had a thought. So that prismatic astronaut is coupled with Cade looking at the dead body. What if that is our dead body? And it's almost trying to show like, I don't know, starting anew with prismatic. Like maybe you're starting anew. Hey, it's the first thing we see of the Destiny 1 kind of teasers when we were learning about Destiny of these astronauts, and it goes right back to the beginning with Prismatic. You heard it here first. We're starting all over again. All of our subclasses are leaving. We're gonna just be Prismatic, and we're gonna be in a new universe.
Oh,
and losing our ghosts because no ghosts there
and
either.
losing our ghosts. We
I mean,
only
maybe
have
for the-
Prismatic. It's now a
We did get a
permadeath game.
sequence of. We did see a sequence.
I lost
of,
my
it's an
ghost a long
extraction
time ago, honestly.
You saw a sequence of what, Miles?
We did see a sequence of the ghost dying, remember, as well? Like the ghost flashing forwards and being crushed.
Yeah, in the same, it's like gets all like twisted up. And again, like that's where I'm seeing, and we know this as a reminder about the Pale Heart. It actually, I believe, right, is a bit like you see in a lot of games. It's got this duality to it. So it could also have to do with that. I mean, is there a dark realm, of some kind? I mean, what it reminded me of is like, Shattered Realm and the way they've played with that a lot. And I would not be surprised to see within the Pale Heart that that's a major component of gameplay, given it the tease here. But it's well, and I should also say I didn't watch what people played, or if anybody did. Anybody watch impressions of people who did go to a Destiny 2 preview event? I've been kind of steering clear of it.
No.
I
watched some
watched
stuff.
skill ups actually.
I watched skill ups. I watched Fallouts, like, because he didn't have any like spoilery stuff. He was just showing off like exotic weapons and exotic armor and kind of explaining what they do. So that was a pretty easy watch.
Giveaway to this type of stuff. People.
No.
Okay. Good, because I want to remain surprised. We're days away.
And they weren't allowed to talk about lore, like, because people were saying, why isn't Bife been invited? He's a way bigger creator than me. And they're like, you're literally not allowed to look at the lore or talk about the lore or the story at all. So
that is literally every game. Like every game I've been invited to and like done previews, like, don't you dare read the lore tab. Don't you even say an ounce about the story, or you're blacklisted. You're never coming back. I'm like, okay.
It's illegal.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have gone to events like this, but I've gone to events where they've like watched you and because they couldn't strip it out of the build, they're like, do not go in this place or this area, and like they would have someone watching you. Wow. I think they've gotten better about strip, but literally like you would be sort of ejected from the event if you break.
Yep.
What else? I had some questions.
That's all I had.
Still going?
No, that's all I had.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Nope.
So I was wondering what you guys' impression was as a big impact, high budget marketing trailer, which is what we're looking at. We forget what makes it so cool is we very rarely get this. We got a piece of this in game, right, to set it up with Cade and Crow. Nope, Crow being reunited. And that was a huge moment, right? Because it's very rare that we get such cinematic visual impact and like you see these hunter powers being realized and you're like, whoa, that's so cool. And that was, in the game unlocked. Now we have this huge launch trailer, but that makes sense to me. My question simply is like, do you expect to maybe get any of this quality of in-game cutscenes? What is your expectation for the campaign run through? It's always something we want more of. I feel like they've had time and money.
Yeah, I definitely, I watched it and I was like, similar to what you said earlier, I was like, it started off with being in the city and I was like, man, I sure wish I could see them more because at the moment I'm very separated from these people that I'm protecting. Like, I don't know anything. As a player who just plays the game, I don't know anything about their culture, their food, their language. Like, I know nothing about the people in the last city. So I'd love to be more involved with the last city. And yet seeing all of these people who are just NPCs that stand there and, give us quests and stuff, it is really nice to see them moving and shooting and fighting and having emotions. And I would love more of that. Bungie does them really well. They do them really well. I would love to see more of it. And I hope we do have some of that in the final shape.
Well, yeah, I actually never really thought about that until you asked the question because my gut reaction was, oh, great, we're getting heaps of cinematics in the final shape campaign, which I guess is not necessarily true, but I mean, that's kind of the impression that I got from not the other trailer, but the one we've been talking about, the new final shape trailer is like, the launch trailer is, these are from the game, right? That's been spliced up, not just marketing material.
So
that's how I thought.
It's 2 minutes. This is insanely expensive. But I mean, this is the final shape. It's 10 years. And yeah, that's why I asked the question. It is, I'd say in Lightfall, I recall, I feel like we got a few right. For whatever in my mind, I feel like there's that image of on the skimmer maybe of like stuff exploding in a Marvel. Was that a cutscene maybe? And like, but it's not, we don't get a ton of it, but you do get a little bit. And so anyway, for me, I wouldn't expect much, but I would expect a little more. And I was hoping that, yeah, some of this fidelity would be taken from like a few more extended things they pepper in. But this is a very expensive cutscene, so I don't know. Either way, I do hope that whether it's in-game cutscene stuff with, as maybe Watts was pointing out, whether you see, the city or even just seeing Zavala and Ikora at our sides, and like those things are always so distant, to use the same word, right? It's like, I want to see them next to me, even in an in-game cinematic. That's better than go back and look at a hologram, and like
they had the ships flying in as well. Like they had all the Elixni and the Elixni ships, the Guardian ships.
Arrived. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Keitel and stuff was in there as well. The Cabal were in there.
Yeah, it seems like it's from the game.
Yeah, as you all roll in and teleport. Yeah.
It was very cool to see all of the ships from the different factions show up.
I think for me, this is kind of like Bungie storytelling that people got accustomed to with like the Halo franchise, and then got into like the live service, where it's just like these big productions were just so hard to punch through every quarter, right? And you ended up getting that storytelling, which was like hologram, vendor, farm enemies, back to the hologram, radio message, read a lore entry. So I do hope this is chock full of cinematics, because
I feel like it's got to be, because it's not only got to wrap up this 10-year story, but it's got to hook you on the next thing too. Like
it does, yeah.
It can't just end a story. It has to also tell you what's coming next.
But that's all I would say. And like, I'm the person who's out here asking and stoking the fire, but I would temper expectations, but like, meaning at the end of this season, I think that's a hint of like a couple moments we'll get. I actually don't think this trailer is like, there's a ton of beautiful high impact stuff in it, but it's 2 minutes. It would be hard to believe that there'd be a bunch of, say, 30-second vignettes from this. If they did that, I would be like, holy crap.
Shut up, Fran. You're getting me down again.
Someone
kick him out of Discord.
I would love it.
I've been back in Destiny for an hour. An hour.
I wanted him to yell at me. I got it. But yeah, anyway, at the very least, even getting in-game cutscene stuff too would. So I think there's still plenty of room for that. Is all I wanted to say. Is whether it's this expensive or it's even just some in-game stuff with the voices.
I hear what you're saying. I do think, though, there will be more cinematics in Final Shape than previous expansions, but I kind of hear what you're saying now. Like, it'd be hard for all of this to have been from in-game stuff. Yeah, that's tough.
I'm excited, though. The trailer really did. I went in, like, having watched so many launch trailers in my life, and certainly for Destiny and being at launch events, and like, I went in with, like, the usual, like, yeah, like, I'm sure they'll have, like, a cool, almost, even when it started, I'm like, oh, it's Billie Eilish, it's going to be an Activision-type trailer, great. But, man, did it get my emotions going. I was like, this is 10 years of being a Guardian. It's not just since 2017. And I feel like they're really doing a good job. Like, they're hitting on everything that it has meant to be in part of Destiny. I feel
it needs to be Halo Reach. It needs to be Halo Reach. I don't think it'll be Halo Reach, but we need Halo Reach. We need a swan song. Send Destiny off. Kind of.
Yeah. Well, hey, now we have, what is it, Keith David, which was the voice of, for many years.
We do. Yep. News of Allah.
What's it called in Halo? God, I'll come up with it.
Oh, the Arbiter.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
God, I forgot he was the Arbiter.
Huh?
I forgot he was the Arbiter.
Yeah. We were talking about it last week. I forgot too.
So he's been working with Bungie for a long time.
Yeah.
He's not doing the Arbiter in the TV show, is he?
I don't think so.
No.
Keith David.
I don't watch the TV show.
But I will say he does such a good job, and he has his history with Bungie. When I was watching the trailer, I actually it fits so well that it took me a second that I was like, wait, that was the voices of Allah. So it didn't in my brain, I wasn't thinking he was a Val when I heard it, but it fit naturally that it didn't take me out of it. So, very curious to see how all this. But man, that's just one thing.
Hell yeah, brother.
It was a good trailer. I watched it. I was like, that's a good trailer.
And we get to play this.
How unnerving it is.
We get to play this next week.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Yeah. Like by this time next week, we'll be playing the final shape.
We would have been this time. We would be the eve before the raid too, because the raid is on Friday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Very glad we're starting
we're gonna have to keep that
by
short.
the way.
We might have to play while we do. Sorry, go ahead.
Because they've confirmed that they're having more Monster Hunter Wilds news at the Summer Game Fest that starts at 2. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, let's go. Thank God.
Welcome to Australian times, because this is what I get to do. I'm in bed while everyone's complaining about servers, trying to log in, wasting time, and then I wake up, 7 a.m., whatever, start streaming, all the servers all settled down, you jump straight in, have a good raid experience. It's perfect.
For anyone wondering, we are planning on having a little DCP raid, but we're going to be starting at like 4 p.m. Pacific instead of 10 a.m. Because for Myelin, that's a ungodly hour. And we're kind of going into it being like let's just get a bunch of butts together and go like experience the music and the encounters and the story and the vibe of the raid on day one. Yeah.
What's and I have been on again and off again when it comes to raid. I was like, you want to do it? Yeah, I don't want to get up. Yeah, neither do I. Do you want to organize it? Nah. Do you want to organize it? Nah. And then eventually I was like, fuck it. Okay, I'll ask some of me friends. You ask some of your friends, and hopefully we'll get 6 people together.
Yep. So we have we have a group. We're just gonna be chilling. We're just gonna be because my favorite thing about doing the raid right away is experiencing the atmosphere and the music and everything with friends right at the beginning. Like that's my favorite thing is being like, guys, look how cool this is. So you have me, Myelin, Fran, Aries is gonna be there. Joker, who is a staple of DCP raids, he will just do the raid himself, so we can just relax.
Right.
He will
man with the backpack.
Yeah, he has a massive backpack.
He does.
And then
it's one of those big hiking ones with the hip belts.
Mylin's friend Sassy, you guys know Sassy. I complain about Sassy every fucking day because he always ruins stuff because he does everything before me. So he's my Joker.
No,
he's my Joker. Sassy's my Joker. So we've got 2 of them, which sometimes they're not very good at playing together. Usually, get 2
just like doesn't say anything, just carries everything. Does everything perfectly. No problems, never dies. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, on the raid, I am hopeful that we can hop in and stuff isn't spoiled. That's always the funnest part of it for me. And I don't know.
Be like me. Just sleep right up until you go live.
But what if you log in and they throw one of those cutscenes at you? So I already had previous rants on that.
We might get that actually.
I won't get into that.
If someone finishes the raid before 4 p.m., but I don't.
That'd be 6 hours. It's right in
that
it
could be
spot.
Yeah, they could definitely do it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to remain on the hype train. I have my rants in previous episodes, but I love doing raids. So I'm going to stay blind as much as possible. And
I'm going to be watch Summer Game Fest with me, Fran, at 2.
Yeah, we get
sleep until 2. Get up. Summer
I'm
Game
not worried
Fest,
about
go
that.
raid.
This is coming from a person.
Not worried about sleeping until 2.
Blind
That's not my problem.
In the unknown. You guys may not know or remember this, but for Last Wish from September to December, I didn't know about any of the encounters. I managed to steer clear of it. I was like, I don't want to hear. Nope. And then I dragged people through it that had already done. I was just stand there while I like monkey with things and figure stuff out. So
that's
I like
impressive.
to do it that way. I'm hoping to do that again. I don't like to get carried just because of contest mode. So
breaking news. I've got Twitch open. Shroud is playing Destiny 2. It's begun.
Oh, he's back in.
Brace yourself for every streamer ever to play Destiny 2.
He did that last year too, I think.
That's when he got into it. Yeah, he got into it with Lightfall, right?
Yep.
So I guess he's wanting to do
he got into it and he got out of it with Lightfall.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I think anyone because he did seem to enjoy his time doing the PvE stuff. So I'm sure, especially for like a day 1 raid situation, I think most people will enjoy like getting in, doing a fresh campaign, going into a raid that's pretty challenging, and I think most people like that. Moist Critical, he does it every year, so He's not like he's not a new Destiny guy.
But yeah, the hype train's rolling now. And we are days away. So maybe now is a good time to remind folks the game is going offline on June 3rd. And so they'll be offline for 24 hours. You lose a day in terms of your prep. I would plan to lose 2 days, meaning anything could happen when it comes to dim and downtime. I think we'll be good through June 3rd. At 10 a.m. it starts, and then it'll go into
10 a.m.
24 hours. So keep that in mind.
I needed like another Datto clean my vault session because you know what? Taking time off, you just have no idea about any perks anymore. I come back, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, when I played the game, I didn't know. So I've got Buckley's chance now.
Right? I don't know anything about PvE roles at all. I didn't know before I was not playing a lot.
I kind of wish there was just an app that would just do it for me. Like I could just say, clean my vault, and it would just do it.
There is actually, Brian.
There is?
No joke. It's not the app, but Destiny Recipes. If you have not used it and you're more like willing and not too worried, you can set like ratings on Crucible or PvE. Anyway, you literally will tag stuff for you. You will have to go in and use those tags to delete it after. But yeah, check out Destiny 2 Recipes if you're not completely neurotic like I am of looking over everything. But I do use it.
The vault
you wouldn't believe it, but I've been deleting a bunch of stuff. But it's because I like playing the game until push comes to shove. And I've literally spent the last 2 weeks getting ready because I don't want to walk into final shape with my pants around.
Don't forget, we are getting 100 more slots too. So I currently have, I think, 80
Good point,
slots.
Wes.
So
I'm
I'll
just
be
not
at
going to do
180.
anything.
180 is fine.
Yeah, that's
180.
Be good.
That ought to last you at least till midway through the raid.
It is a good reminder that just make sure the most important stuff, you're seriously like, I don't want to prep. Oh yeah, I'm getting 100 vault space, but make sure your postmaster's empty, because that you do not want to have to go back and clear that crap out when you're trying to get started. And secondly, if you want to take advantage of any engrams and stuff you earned over the last year, go cash them in. And quick tip on what you can use them for, right? There's free red borders per week. Some have like a daily login. So log in real fast and get some free stuff, but get rid of your engrams. And also those engrams are really good for rolling armor, which is something I have not taken time to do because it fills my vault up, but I've been making space so I can use a bunch of these engrams. So it is a good time to not waste the last year of like what you've done. Honestly, it's overwhelming when you get back in there. I have a little spreadsheet to-do list that I've been keeping, and I'm never going to get all that stuff
Fran,
done.
I can't wait for you to get into Monster Hunter. Your spreadsheets are going to be insane. You are going to be the Reddit's hero. You're going to be like waiting for Fran Mirabella's new spreadsheet.
Yeah, right.
I wish. It's going to happen. I
wish I could
see
get
it in
there,
your future.
But anyway,
make sure you save your exotic engrams. Like, I would personally fill all of your slots, your engram slots, with exotic engrams, because the way that you're going to be getting the new exotics is through ranking up Rahul. So you want to Guardian. You're going to want to turn on those exotic engrams. So God,
yeah,
I honestly I don't really like the new system, but whatever.
It's a good reminder. That was a big news from last week. So it would be nice to save exotic engrams. I think you'll be getting more that you can just use and save, but you'll also be wanting to roll new gear. But anyway, you will be able to actually make your exotic armor artifice through this rank up system, as well as getting other paths to exotic. So it is.
See, this is the stuff. If you're not paying attention to weekly Destiny, you just have no idea.
No. It just happened last week, Mile. You're not far behind.
But I felt the same with the change. I was like, these are the kind of changes that make me less excited to get fully invested in Destiny again, because now you're saying that if I don't stack up on all of these exotic engrams, I'm gonna be like further behind in getting new exotics and stuff. And yeah, I didn't like the change.
I'm gonna roll up blind and stupid, just like started up on Tuesday. Like, here I am. Let's do this.
I don't have any bounty preps this time, because the only time I don't do bounty preps. I played Crucible and just saved my bounties because I'm already season pass 100. But they're getting rid of all of those bounties. So unless you have like destination bounties, you can't use any of them.
Yeah.
I can't remember what raid it was, but I remember it broke me so bad. It was like 2 weeks of raid, or it was 2 weeks of prep before.
Crown was 8 hours of prep.
No, I'm talking 2 weeks of prep to like get all the bounties right, get everything I needed like before the DLC came out. And then it was just like play as much Destiny as you possibly could for like 4 days, and then raid for another day and a half.
4 days straight.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was like,
I don't want to do it. I just don't.
Yeah.
I wish
I
would
loved
get
it
rid
while
of
it was
Bounty
happening, but
Warden.
I'll never do it again.
And you guys nailed it, right? There's a couple like semi-optimal notes, but you don't have to worry. Other than I just really would recommend your postmaster is empty, because that's the one that will screw you. I don't think that gets cleared out, right? So you literally could hop in and be like, my postmaster's full. That's probably the number one thing you need to worry about. And dim, reminder, could be down. There's only so many.
Yeah, I'm not going to rely on dim.
But you can use Vault stuff in Orbit now, I believe, or something. I haven't been doing that. I keep forgetting.
Yep, you can access the Vault in Orbit.
But what else shall we discuss?
There were a bunch of previews, but maybe I would say go watch the content creators' videos for that information breakdown. Highly recommend Fallout's video, because if you're interested in just looking at the exotic weapons and the exotic armor, he doesn't really show any Final Shape gameplay. It's like an old lost sector. So you're
also,
pretty
Fallout's
safe
the boss, so go
spoilers.
subscribe to him anyway.
Fallout's great. Yeah, Fallout's great. It's the really good videos.
Is it time to talk about Monster Hunter yet?
Are we doing that before the TWAB?
Let's do all Destiny stuff.
Oh
yeah, probably best not to break.
Because if I let go of my excitement, I ain't coming back.
Yeah, why don't we get into the TWAB?
I didn't read it yet, guys. So you gotta just let me know what's in it.
Let's tear off Briar's favorite new Eververse stuff. But wait, Briar, this one might actually get you. Have you seen it? No, come back on camera. Don't do this. Come back to me. This might be the one to break you, Briar. Are you a Dungeons and Dragons fan? Because I watched it, and man, I'm similar to you. I'm like, man, not more Eververse. Honestly, I think all this stuff looks really cool.
The stuff looks great. Cool. It does look great, but it's in the Eververse. Like, so I just don't care. You know? It does look great though.
It's the first, like, the ship looks cool, the Mind Flayer Warlock, and like I don't like advertising Eververse stuff personally, but I guess I'm like a bit of a Dungeons and Dragons fan. I respect what it's done over 50 years, and so a shout out to that. But
and Myelin can get an emote where he can roll awful in Destiny as well. You know what we should do? In the raid, we should have people roll with the emote for doing stuff.
For ad clear.
Ad clear and divinity user.
Yeah, so
Warlock.
Warlock well. Yeah.
You do want to open your it's the Apex Draconic will be the Titan skin or ornament. The Mind Flayer's theme goes to the Warlock, and then the Displacer Beast theme would be a Spectral Displacer.
How much? Probably all. How much? Because I think this is always my. This is always my issue with these ones is they're just like super priced.
These ones tend to be
always
more expensive.
Like super expensive.
To me, the more important part is we're paying what is it, $50 or something for Final Shape without the episode. Is that right? Price check. But anyway, the important part is I don't care. Like, the Eververse has already shown us it's a dangerous place, as we've seen in all games. But
League of Legends, we're looking at you, $500 Ari skin collection.
What is that about?
What?
Is that true?
Is that true?
Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. It's $500. It's a $500 bundle.
You have gone off the rails. You have jumped the shark.
The League of Legends community is saying we're going to ban Ari forever after it happens. So if you did buy it, you can't play her.
Oh, that's perfect. Everyone just bans her? Yeah, nice.
Ban Ari, everybody.
I love it.
If you play League, ban Ari. Thank you.
But the most important thing I was just going to say is that they hopefully have really cool new stuff and ornaments to earn in the Final Shape, and through the episodic pass, which is called Echoes, which we don't know a ton about. We'll see if it's been reworked at all, and it's 18 weeks now. But that's the important part, meaning that Dungeons and Dragons stuff should not be the coolest looking stuff in the game. Correct. If it is, and it's $60, that is where we continue to have problems in this and Diablo. And yeah, I hate it, but hopefully we see some.
Shout out to Monster Hunter.
Right?
No cosmetic purchases, right?
They have them, but they're like, you have a billion through the game, and they look better.
Right.
But maybe we should move on to the artifact preview. Do we really want to like touch much on that? They did preview the artifact.
Yes. I'll give you one that I'm excited for. How about that?
Okay. All right.
I'm excited for Threaded Blast to come back. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon creates
Yes.
a larger and more damaging explosion. I feel like that made tangles feel real good when we first got access to strand. And now that I have the Beyblade, you know, I can do a big blast shooting it with a gun, and then it's gonna have the Beyblade too. It's gonna be great. I'm excited.
Beyblade.
My favorite way to play.
Yeah, I was as much as that's an old one, I was really excited that's coming back as
I
well.
was excited for it.
I was just playing last night with like some tangles and the navigator, the strand, trace rifle. It's just big fun to blow those up.
Very fun.
But the bigger news is the Hunter's Journal, as it's called, is very much this almost a harken back to Witch Queen, like investigative journal thing. You see on there in the little scribbles, they say Loot Cave and where it's located, you know, is I think like an
Skywatch, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of
Doc 13. Moth Dude is crossed out.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's funny.
That dude?
I didn't
I don't
see
know if
that
that says dude. But that's a very like Cade thing to say if he said Moth Dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if it says dude. Definitely says Moth.
So that's some, you know, just sort of visual look to it, but as you pointed out, it's got some new stuff in here about, you know.
I'll give you your champion mods for how about that? Everyone always likes to hear about that. Yeah. You've got Anti-Barrier Pulse, Unstoppable Sidearm, Unstoppable Scout Rifle, Overload Hand Cannon, Anti-Barrier Submachine Gun. There you go. Those are your champion mods.
I always like Anti-Barrier Pulse. We just got Blast Furnace from Onslaught, or you can and should. And that thing will bang.
God, I still, you know what? One of the things I remember that I hated when I started playing Destiny is just champions. They're definitely better because of all the ways you can deal with them, but they still.
Yeah, they're a lot better with all the ways you can.
They are a lot better.
But the overview and biggest news is actually it's focused on Solar, Void, and Arc.
And swords.
And then long range snipers as well as swords, which is interesting. I think swords get more of the attention.
Swords. And then of course you have some stuff in here for your transcendence, like one of them is transference, gain increased grenade and melee damage while transcendent, weapon final blows while transcendent, refund light and dark energy after transcendence ends. So that seems really good if you're running a prismatic class. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Prismatic.
When I looked at it, because of the sword stuff in particular, my brain goes more to like in a world where we constantly get stomped, where you can't go close to anything. Like it sounds like maybe they're trying to bring us back, get us a little closer. We have seen more roaming bosses, right? As of late that don't just, I mean, they do stomp you, but Bella is stepping on your keyboard.
Yes, that's a message from Bella.
Funny. I saw a message from Watts. I was
Hello,
like,
Bella.
That's Bella.
If you're interested, it's V. Lots of V's.
She loves you.
Do you reckon people will be taking prismatic into the world's first, or do you think it's? Oh, you can't.
Oh wait, no, you can. You can't do the exotic class items. Never mind. Exotic class items are post raid, but yeah, prismatic is.
What do they do again? What do the exotic class items do?
You get 2 exotic exotic armor perks on your class item.
Yeah,
so that's right. You can like mix and match.
It's a handful of their inspirations, where like you can get rolls on these class, but it's from a table of, inspired.
But you can only use it. You can only use it with prismatic. That class item. Oh no,
I assume, but I don't know.
I forgot everything is so new. I'm like, how does it work?
We've had 9,000 word articles for the past like month. It feels like I don't know what's going on anymore.
That's saying yes, correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you can take.
Okay.
So do you think we'll see prismatics, or do you think it's too quick to like use it in a raid for people to really get used to it?
It could potentially be too because it could be too quick. I don't know. I don't know when you unlock like all of the prismatic stuff. I know you start with a pretty good like starter build.
Skill Up said that it unlocks a lot quicker than Strand, because during the preview it was kind of like one of the things that put a lot of people off is just how you got those drips and drabs of Strand in Lightfall, and if you didn't persist for the whole campaign, obviously you didn't unlock it. So I think you get it a bit quicker in Vinyl Shape.
Yeah. I think people will find some moments use it, but I have a feeling that the other subclasses and stuff will be so viable that they'll be so much more ready and comfortable that you'll mostly only see that.
Like you don't have Well in Prismatic. Are we still gonna? I know Well's getting nerfed, but is it still gonna be pretty important to have a Well of Radiance in the raid?
That was like if you didn't catch, that's like some of the huge news. Both the bubble and the Well nerfs, to keep people from crutching on too much. Although the Titan bubble is more for, but yeah, Well is already changed as of June 4th, so people can't crutch on it. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, I missed that too.
Of War. Yeah, there's quite a lot missing that you maybe want in a raid, especially like a contest mode raid from Prismatic. I could see maybe Hunters perhaps, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then like they have Frost Armor now, which is a new stasis fix. So they're cleaning up stasis finally after all this time, if you don't know, and then they're introducing Frost Armor, which is a new keyword for resilience and all that. You can build stacks of Frost Armor, so you're gonna see maybe people have stasis builds in the raid. Even like, who knows?
Well, actually, I think correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I think Strand Titan and Stasis Titan are in a good spot. I think.
I don't play Titan.
We'll see. Well, get out.
We should all be playing Hunters. It's clearly a Hunter expansion. Cade and Crow Hunters.
Yeah, they're all the characters who have died. What? No more.
And come back.
Yeah, they always come back. Well, putting aside the speculation, maybe now's a good time to say, remember, if you are doing World's First, but you want to raid, I think maybe period, to avoid spoilers, you're not only going to need to beat the campaign, but they actually say this wild card exotic quest is a requirement to launch the raid.
Oh, wow.
Not
really?
just the campaign. Yeah. 2 things to be ready for. So especially if you're racing.
Worth noting that it's only one person on the team that has to do it. It just has to be the person launching it. So if someone, for some reason, who's doing World's First hasn't finished the campaign and the mission, you can still enter the raid.
I wonder why that is. I wonder why they're requiring that you do that exotic quest.
It's very story based, the raid. That's why the raid's launching 3 days after this comes out, because there's more stuff post raid that they want people to experience.
Do you think the exotic might be required for something in the raid?
No. I think it's just the quest line. But actually, I take
story stuff. Because they even mentioned that in the raid, like, be careful because there's spoilers of the Final Shape campaign, like in the raid.
But then isn't it the opposite, Watts? Why is it so? Meaning, you should give us time to not have to do all this. It's rushed for a marketing
because
boost.
They don't want you to, like, I don't know, maybe you do the campaign and then you never come back. I don't know.
Well, exactly.
It takes too long.
The reason, but I just want to throw out again, I sympathize with folks who have, families and day jobs. And it's asking a lot, like putting the, not you, putting the race aside, and I'm not gonna harp on it for another rant. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's a lot of racing. Yeah, we're even talking about doing a podcast next Thursday, and I know it's gonna be Wednesday, and I'm gonna be like, guys, like, we got stuff to do. Like, I can't do this. So like, it's so rushed. I think it's an unfortunate thing to push people so hard for, quite frankly, the marketing spike. But I get why they're doing it, especially now. But you're not going to spoil anything if you just wait 10 days.
It'll be like the old days when we used to do the podcast while we were playing Destiny. They were literally like grinding things while we were doing the podcast.
So
do you think they're worried that it's too easy, or do you think it's just story reasons that they brought it forward?
I think it's all marketing. You were not. I've already ranted about it. It's marketing. Right? They were going to look at Twitch concurrence, and they want them as high as possible. They want Steam concurrence as high as possible, and it's all marketing story. It's both investors. Like, I don't see any reason other than hype. Hype is, you could argue, is like, wait, Fran, it's not just marketing. It's everybody so hyped. Why wait? But it's
wouldn't it be better though for like to have the initial rush of players when the DLC drops, and then like a week or two later, then have a huge another boost for the raid?
Yeah, that's
like, wouldn't that be better?
Yeah. I want that.
Yeah.
Selfishly, give me some time to like soak this in.
They're just wanting people to not have spoilers or something. I don't know. Or they're just wanting
people are
to
spoil
have
the raid, like they're gonna like dig into the files of the game or something
out there.
But it's the opposite,
yeah,
right? Which
it could be that.
You're talking leaks. It's the opposite. You're forcing down my throat potentially a cutscene from the raid and the exotic quest, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what I hear, and I've experienced it in Destiny, so I don't think it's far off. So,
I do agree with you, Fran.
I love the hype. I really do, and I don't want to come on a down note. I've been trying to avoid the usual beating a dead horse with this stuff, but I think it's important. There's people out there like, yeah, man, they watch the raids because of what you're saying.
Yeah, the raid's going to be hype, like, no matter when it happens. If it happens 3 days later, a week and a half later, 2 weeks later, we've had it all different times, and it's always hype.
Dude, it's numbers. I would say it's 90% numbers and budget, and, like, I understand that from running a business side. Like, if I had the other hat on as, you know, VP of marketing, and I'd be like, God, we're launching it this week, you know, I would be contrary on that side, because your metric of success is the numbers.
But I will say this, I finished that raid, and I dropped Destiny like a fucking hot potato. I am like, I've had enough. I've played it for, you know, like 74 hours straight. I'm going outside, I'm touching grass.
Yeah, that's the other bad side effect as well, you know.
Yeah, because I feel like the grinding aspect would be, you know, people are invested for a full week before the raid comes out, right? Like they're grinding, they're getting on their builds and playing with the new subclass that might include that, and then it releases, and then you get another peak again, and potentially, if you know, I think Final Shape will be a good expansion, and then you get all the word of mouth. Oh, it's really good, and then all of a sudden, like, lapsed players are now considering jumping back in and maybe doing the raid as well. So it's like, I think
from my, I think it is mostly story based, and the reason I say that is because after the raid is when you unlock this brand new thing, which we don't know about, which is how you get access to the other exotic, like, class item stuff. So I really think that they do want to have it be a cohesive thing of, here's the story, you're not having to wait like weeks and weeks and weeks for this raid to happen to then continue for the next part of the story, so then you can continue to get the exotic class item so you can fully enjoy Prismatic. So I think it's
I don't see the difference. Like, you're waiting 7 days, or you're waiting, you know, 14.
You know,
like, what you're still waiting.
It sounds like the campaign's going to be like a big cliffhanger kind of deal, and they don't want to keep you hanging. Like, it sounds like.
But that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's like an episode of Game of Thrones. What, you don't want to finish the story? And so, anyway, I totally do understand where you're coming from. But, like, I think
I don't know.
It's like, I just think it's unfortunate from a gamer perspective. I don't see any gameplay benefit personally from rushing me through everything.
Yeah.
And I just don't want the raid spoiled for me as someone who really enjoys it. And it always turns into, we're going to go up to the second counter. We're going to get exhausted after 6-7 hours because of contest mode. I won't have access to normal mode, even though the raid has been beaten. And then I'm going to ask you guys if you play tomorrow, but we're all going to be disparate. And then somebody's going to want to carry us through who wanted to get the emblem. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Now I got to wait. People who didn't. But then it's the same with the story. Like, I really do remember, and I know I'm whining here, folks, so I'll be done with it in a second. When
you've been stinking up this whole podcast, Fran.
the last wish, man, and I just remember that cutscene. I remember, like, getting sort of just locked and, like, logging in, and it's like Riven's last wish thing, and I was like, God, like, throw it in my face. I was logging in, you know, and so I just remember to this day that feeling, and it keeps sort of happening. So I would love to see a solution for those of us who want to avoid it. That's all.
Yeah,
I mean, you can have both.
When it comes to Rolk, you know, I was doing you know, world's first, whatever. I was doing day one, and yeah, I just wanted to see Rolk in the raid myself. I didn't want to beat him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get there and see the enemy, hear the music, have the experience, and we couldn't. We ended up, you know, seeing the cutscene.
Yeah.
It's kind of sucks. Yeah.
But it will
So
be
we're hoping on our raid experience, and I don't know, I actually haven't spoken out loud against you, told you guys this yet, but obviously we're going a bit more casually. But I think if we get to a point where we're going to be ripping a data guide and just getting told how to do it so we could experience it, right?
Myelin doesn't know this about me, but that's when Fran's like, I'm gonna eat dinner. I'm sorry, I gotta go, because I really do.
Fran, no.
Yeah,
like, if we
because, like, there's no reason for
Fran
me
wants to only be blind.
Meaning,
no,
like,
Fran.
Like I hope you like it's funny because everybody plays games differently, and like that's like it's like I'm playing Elden Ring and I have to do it on the weekend, and so Watts says, I already know how to do it. I've beaten this boss. I'm just gonna jump in and help you. I'll be like, why would I ever do that? It makes no earthly sense to me as a gamer. So I can't, you know.
I agree with the idea of experiencing it the first time. I'm a big advocate for that. I'm a big advocate for never spoiling mechanics because that's the magic of Destiny. But after 10 years, I've come to the realization I am not an elite Destiny player and I do need help. And rather than denying myself for a week, thinking that I'm going to fucking work it out, eventually I'll get to the point of having to look up a guide, and you might as well experience the story, the very end of 10 years of Destiny, and see the witness on day one in all his glory than have that spoiled.
See, that's exactly, you have to because of the timeline. They're launching it that weekend, and I'm saying give us some time. But anyway, I'm gonna get kicked off the team, is what we're hearing, folks, which is fine. I mean, again, honestly, like you know, for real, like everybody plays different. It is important to get those things out of the way when you have a raid team, and I always end up like I don't care about the emblem as much as I do the experience. So I'm usually like, I'm gonna see if I can get people together, and then what happens again is everybody's so burnt out that I do cave in eventually, but it won't be on the first day or two. But we'll see. This one's really important to me after, like you said, 10 years. I can wait. What else? What's the next Destiny expansion? What are you in a rush for, you know? What you're in a rush for is people in your chat spoil stuff. So we'll see.
I think Myelin's more so saying to just experience it, to have the experience itself, and then continue the story post raid, and not have to be like, okay, don't look at the new activity, don't look at any of the lore, don't look at any of the story, like don't play episodes because the episodes is going to be about the campaign too, like don't play any of it until the raid is over.
I guess on my side I accept,
because I'm going to be playing Elden Ring, friend. I gotta hurry up.
No, on that side I do accept, and that's why I had the ranting that I've been doing, which is like I understand that I may not beat the raid, and they're going to throw something in my face to continue the story, and I'm going to get that part spoiled potentially, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. But no, I see where you're coming from for sure.
Oh, I 100% see what you're saying. And I agree. I think part of my brain wants to do what you're saying, but I just know that realistically
it's not realistic.
There's only so much time that I have, and it is the lesser of two evils to kind of get told raid mechanics if we need help and to experience it firsthand. Like I'd rather that evil rather than someone spoiling it for me after the fact and not having enough time to get back to it, you know?
You're right. I'm dreaming, dude. Like, but until that time comes, I will
continue to
hope. I'm holding on to hope, but you are 100% more realistic and smart about it. There's no lies detected.
Well, to finish up, I think we're pretty much finished with Destiny stuff for this week, but I'm gonna give you some information before we end. So the raid, they do mention it in the TWAB, so this is not a leak, part of the leaks. Salvation's Edge is what it is called. That's the name of the raid. It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific. Contest mode is going to be available for 48 hours, and you need to be at 1965 power to be at the cap through all of the encounters. We already mentioned that you have to do the campaign and the wildcard exotic quest. And then they've also changed it the way that they're doing completion criteria. Normally what you have to do with part of the world's first race is you finish and you have to go to orbit like right away. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. So they will actually, this is really cool because it must be really nice to stay in there and like get the loot and like take a picture and be like, woo, guys, we did it. Instead of like, it's gone, go, get to orbit, hurry up. So that was really nice. That was nice to see. There's also some Twitch Rivals stuff. So you can signups are open until June 3rd at 5 p.m. Pacific if you want to be a part of Twitch Rivals. You've got 3 emblems that you can earn. So the Stand in Salvation emblem is watch 2 hours of any Destiny 2 streamer. This is from June 7th to June 9th. You have another one where you have to watch at least 2 hours of any Destiny 2 Twitch Rivals stream. And that's from 9:30 a.m. on June 7th to 9:30 on June 9th. And then there's another one, which is called Rest the Heart emblem, where subscribe to your favorite Destiny 2 streamer on Twitch. And that's from 9:30 a.m. June 7th to 9:30 a.m. June 9th.
Hmm.
You've also got a bunch of chat badges on Twitch, which you can get. There's
That's
3
the first,
different
I
ones.
believe.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had a chat badge. So there's one which is just a global emote that you'll be able to use from June 7th to June 14th. And this is a ghost eating popcorn.
Adorable.
It's a free chat emote. Very cool. That you also have a scanning ghost chat badge, and this is if you stream Destiny 2 for 30 minutes between June 7th and June 9th, you can get a new chat badge. And then there's a ghost chat badge, which is watch 15 minutes of the Final Shape raid on Twitch Rivals. So we were unsure about that initially. We're like, how are they going to track that you're watching the raid specifically? But it looks like you have to watch the Twitch Rivals channel specifically to get this chat badge.
Oh, for the badge. I thought that might be Rivals creators as well, but yeah.
Yeah, with them saying just watch Twitch
Yeah.
Rivals. Yeah.
And it's only 15 minutes, so that's frankly the investment trying to.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
And just to remind the note on getting to 1965, is it? But you can do Legend campaign. You'll be there. Boom. They give you a full set of 1965. Boom. Well, armor. I assume the guns
gives you
would be
everything.
just as
Yeah,
easy.
it just gets you do legendary campaign. You're good to go, pretty much.
That and the exotic quest, and then you're good to go for the raid. As long as one person has for your team. But for story, everybody should do it.
And if you're on Steam, make sure you have 300 gigs free of space. Good luck.
Wait, what?
They went through the storage requirements for updating for the Final Shape. So it's about 143 gig is what it's on PlayStation, and it doesn't have like a little asterisk next to it. Steam has 3 asterisks that says Steam includes current installed version of Destiny 2 up to 144 gig plus the update, which is 155 gig. But all of the seasonal stuff is going away. All of that stuff, all of it's going away. So you're just going to be having everything installed all at once if you preload the Final Shape, plus you've got the current version of Destiny.
Yeah.
So how many gigs?
299.7 gigabytes.
299.7 on Steam. Yep.
But I get the impression, right? Once it's all out there and the maintenance, I assume at some point it goes back down to the 155.
Yep.
This is just
it will go back
how much
down.
you need to like get it all installed and be ready to
preload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just
because all of this stuff is staying on it's staying in Destiny until they take the servers down.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Right. So like before Final Shape, it's going to be like 300, but then it's going to drop back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell that to all the other games in my Steam library that's currently getting removed from my hard drive?
Yeah, it's just temporary.
Don't worry, you can come back. I promise I'll reinstall you.
You just got to send them to their room for a little, and after they're good. Okay, man.
And yeah, just make sure you do all of your stuff before the servers go down on June 3rd. So June 2nd is basically your cutoff time.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Super fast note is Fireteam Finder voice chat is getting an update. So with the Final Shape, they are adding a new voice chat channel for Fireteam Finder lobby. So you basically be able to coordinate before you go in. Obviously, that's going to be optional, but could be pretty handy to be like, all right, has everybody got unstop and overload on? Okay, cool. They don't even have to respond, and you might hear a voice if you want. That's a good thing.
And then I want to give a quick shout out to the movie of the week because it is our good friend, Mr. Wow, who was edited. He did, yeah, edited for me and Myelin. So he has a full like cinematic about the Glycon. It's really, really cool.
Nice.
It's a 3-minute 40 seconds like cinematic Destiny 2.
Wait,
it's really cool.
Were you guys involved?
I always call him Wall. Is it really pronounced WoW? I guess
I don't know. I say Wall too because WoW. I don't know. It's WAL. I don't know. Wow. I have no idea.
Yeah. So anyone who's ever seen my videos that have got the cinematics, like that's what Wall films. He goes out and he's crazy. Just gets them done. That's why you have cool intros to my videos. Yeah.
Yep.
It looks dope.
He's great.
Definitely check it out.
And then, as the final part of Destiny, this is very good. The artist of the week drew Riven as a Monster Hunter art. Which ties in nicely to our Sony State of Play conversation.
Seriously.
Because it's
Ooh, tell me.
riven as like Monster Hunter Rise art style.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
that looks
cool.
so good.
Yeah.
Should we
Monster,
talk
monster,
about
monster,
Concord
monster,
real
monster.
quick?
Oh yeah, we can do Concord. Yeah.
Because
so
that does kind of
Concord,
tie into Bungie quite a bit.
It does. Yeah. So this was the first thing at Sony State of Play.
Yeah.
They were announcing Firewalk Studios, and here's Concord. Concord is a new FPS by this new studio that's been taken under the wing by Sony. And it's funny because when I was watching, I was like, for anyone who doesn't know, the people at the studio is like Josh Hamrick, who used to be at Destiny, and Noosk, who was at Bungie, and Claude, who was also a Bungie. And those are the exact people they showed in the video.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put this in the background?
Yeah,
Wait,
put it in the background. Yeah. So these are like the some pretty OG Destiny guys and Halo guys who are responsible. Well, obviously it's not just them, but they are a big reason why guns feel really good and abilities feel really good. So I've always been
This is a
excited
PvP game.
It's an arena shooter. Yep.
If you look at the gameplay too, you're gonna see stuff that looks very familiar to you as a Destiny or a Halo fan.
Very familiar. That 100
Right?
knife throw.
Yeah.
Yep,
What the hell?
Strip mines the way the guns are. It kind of looks like Destiny PvP, obviously with more things added.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool setup too, is they've kind of set up this like world of, I don't know, is it kind of like, would you call it like space piratey kind of a world?
Kind of.
Like they have this big cinematic trailer that
Guardians of the Galaxy vibe for me.
Yeah, totally. They have a big cinematic trailer that's like 4.5 minutes long, if you haven't seen that yet, where they introduce a bunch of the characters and the world, which I didn't know what to think of when I was watching that trailer, because I was like, this looks interesting, but a little generic. But then once I found out that, oh, this is like a 5v5 PvP game, now I'm like, okay, now I'm much more interested. And then I found out, because I didn't know who was behind this, and then I saw the names at the end of that the gameplay trailer. I was like, oh, I'm definitely very interested in this.
I'm like, this should feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people saying, oh, Overwatch. I would not compare it to Overwatch, purely because a big part of the Overwatch experience is the way they have their time to kill. The time to kill is very long. Everyone has a lot of health. Like, you're having a lot of just like shoot-offs between the two teams. This is not that. Like, we're getting one-shot headshots. This looks like a Destiny kind of time to kill.
Yeah, you got the last word. You got jumping in the air and sniping people. You got also does seem to be like a hero shooter though. There's definitely some
it is a hero
Overwatch
shooter,
to
for
it.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, that's a really good observation I didn't catch before. Like, because to me, I mean, it is 5v5 on the nose. It is Overwatch hero shooter, but time to kill is so important. So that's a really good observation of the feel of these matches. Yeah,
I would. When my experience playing Marvel Rivals, Watts played some too, which is a hero shooter with the Marvel skin, but not first person. I realized that I really don't like. I think hero shooters have to do a fair bit of stuff to feel fresh again, because everyone's played, Overwatch, and if it's just a hero shooter, it does need something it brings that feels a little bit different. But that being said, Marvel's was also third person, and that just did not jive with me. I was like, if I'm gonna play a hero shooter, I'd prefer to just play.
There's no Anthem,
Overwatch.
am I right?
That's right.
Ain't no Anthem. Ain't no Anthem. So that looks interesting. So what? Pre-order when? Pre-order starting June 6th, and you get beta early access. Okay.
Yeah. And then the game's out this summer.
PC and PS5.
It is out. It's out in August. Yeah,
Yeah.
It launches in August.
Like August 23rd, I think.
There's also a bunch of other Bungie people who are there. Like, this studio is basically like mostly Bungie folks who are working there. It's a lot of Bungie people. Yeah, like
PvP
ones that
Bungie,
were behind the sandbox, and mostly sandbox, the way guns feel, all of that. So when we played Marvel's Rivals, like, okay, so the difference between these things, because I know some people are confused, it's a very different experience to going in there, whether it's a hero shooter or not. So say they're both hero shooters. the experience is very different going in there and being able to be a solo player and take out like 3 dudes by yourself, no team support because of the time to kill. When you have a longer time to kill, you have that Overwatch Marvel experience where it's also a hero shooter, but unless you have your ultimate, you're not really going to be going in there and solo carrying a game. It's going to be much more, it's going to be slower, and someone's healing you and someone's putting this down, and like you have way more opportunities to slip out of dying. So actual fights between the teams take way longer, and it feels very much so like this is a team game. This isn't a like you're going to pop off and win the game by yourself kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like always you're waiting for like a pick, you're waiting for someone to make a mistake, and then you capitalize that out, or pop your ults, or push up, like kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, we're only like 45 days away, and then we can play it and see. I went from, oh no, it's Overwatch, when I first saw it, I was like, was this leaked? And I was like, very like, I didn't know it was going to be that,
Right. I had this arc too. Like, I was like, oh, okay,
Apex
what's this like story game? And then,
Apex is
this is another hero shooter. I was like, And then, oh, wait, this is made by not Bungie. Like, now I'm interested.
Valorant is a hero shooter. Also is not Overwatch.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, you'd have to agree, Watts, though. Like, it's way closer to Overwatch than anything else.
I don't know. I think the time to kill makes a huge difference to the feel of these games. Like this feels much more like Call of Duty, X-Defiant kind of arena shooter, which
maybe closer to X-Defiant, which has Overwatch tones. Yeah,
I'm definitely going to check this out. I'm really worried.
I'm checking it out.
I am definitely worried about what's going to happen with their monetization, though, because
you pay for it.
Well, yeah, you pay for Overwatch too.
And seasonal content, most likely, it seems. Yeah.
So they mentioned that they're going to be having weekly stories in the game.
Yeah.
So every week you're going to log in and there's going to be a different story that progresses the characters and the world and all that stuff. I don't know what happens. I mean, maybe if it's just a PvP game, maybe you just pay for like new maps and like a new expansion comes out and there's new characters and new maps and new weapons and new, I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. But to finish the sentiment was, I did go, to be fair, right? I went from, oh man, it's like basically Overwatch to, there's nuance in, of course, like, but my impression is still like, just play it instead of speculating. But then I did come back, and when I was like seeing all the, the Warlock nade, the knife, the arenas, and just look, I was like, you know what? Because it shares a DNA with Destiny, that's the hook for me. Of like, if you, like, I don't play Destiny PvP that much. And if you're like, but what if it was kind of like Destiny PvP, but like a little closer to Overwatch? I was like, actually, oddly, like that is more interesting to me. And like, I'm kind of a little more on board with it than I was when I first looked at it at first sight. So
they're kind of like, hey, what if it was Destiny PvP and we didn't have to balance PvE and we could solely focus on
maybe that's
PvP
what it is. Maybe that's kind of what they're trying to offer here. And like, I have never really in recent years had an arena shooter that speaks to me. I'm not a BR guy. I'm not a extraction shooter guy. And and I'm not a Valorant CSGO kind of guy. And that's all people were making for a really long time. And if you got an arena shooter, it was, like Overwatch, or it was like CSGO. It's not this like chaotic, hectic, movement-based kind of game. And this has a lot of movement in it. So I'm kind of hoping that it's got a lot of the offerings that I've been wanting from an arena shooter.
Yeah, and like unlike you guys brought Marvel Rivals, like they get it, and they were like, it's really important how this game feels. We know it's got people on it that understand that. So it became a little more exciting the more I thought about it. We're gonna get to play a beta, so it's well ahead of it. Meaning, if they were worried, they may not do a beta that far out. Sounds like it's over a month or so away. So
it's
from when it launches, right?
It launches August 24th, I believe it was.
I can't wait for there to be no Australian servers.
23rd.
Same diff. Which, by the way,
did you say I can't wait for there to be no Australian servers?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, by the way, that's normally when we get a Destiny 2 showcase, pretty much that exact date. I don't expect that this year, given all the delays.
Monster Hunter Wilds got a
in-depth cinematic. This is a pretty crazy cinematic for like
4.5
story.
minutes.
Honestly, I personally was like, I actually kind of like these characters. Like they seem like interesting. They've got tons of personality, and I think that is kind of important if you're playing a hero shooter kind of game, because
They didn't draw
who you
me
decide
in.
to main is partly based on their personality as well.
Brian, you said the game didn't draw you in?
The story trailer didn't draw me in. I was like, this looks somewhat interesting. I was actually hoping, at first I was like, oh, is this what is it called? Beyond Good and Evil? What is it called?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
2?
Yeah.
I was thinking it might be that, but then I was like, no, it's not that. So I was like, what is this?
Because of the alien. Yeah, I could see that. And I know we got to move on, but I did just want to make the point that as much as like you look at it as well, it might be like, well, it kind of looks like this and that. And like, let's just assume that it does look close to Overwatch or Destiny. But competition is good. And like, at least on that side, and remember, Overwatch is owned by Xbox. So there's a lot of layers there, but it's good on that front. Competition is always good.
Yeah. And
remember that
Destiny PvP community is hungry.
Yes, because the Crucible used to be about 40% of the population. It is now about 6%. So
that is dramatic.
Really?
Yep.
All right, Monster Hunter Wilds got their first trailer.
Monster Hunter Wilds, the best
Holy
news of the day,
shit.
the best news of the year, the best news of the
watts.
week. Thank God.
This game looks
Best thing.
outstanding. Like outstanding. And Watts, you said this is coming out PC day and date with the consoles?
Yes. So, Rurikhan, if you look him up on, I'll give you a link if you're live, but Rurikhan, he did an interview with the European community manager from Monster Hunter. And he was like really, really being like, it's really important that these things are released on the same platforms all at the same time. It keeps the community together. It keeps hype like at a maximum. And he said, his name's Jono, as the community manager. He said, okay, so I can't talk on that, but what I can say is when you watch the Monster Hunter Rise trailer, which is the last Monster Hunter, at the end of that trailer, it says coming to Switch. Eventually it came to PC and everything else. If you watch the first Monster Hunter Wilds trailer, at the end, it says coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC.
Nice.
And he's like, do with that information what you will.
I'm going to say it's coming to PC.
There was also something at the end of this trailer where they mentioned if you have Monster Hunter World or Iceborne save data, that you can get these Palico armor sets and weapons. And
Sweet.
it says here at the end of this right here, it says, if you have save data on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, or PC, you get these things. So they're mentioning them all together. So I would be very surprised if they do not release at the same time for this.
Why I'm so interested in the PC version is because this looks outstanding, but it's definitely running pretty low frame rates in this trailer. So like any boost.
If you're not on PC.
Yeah,
okay.
if you're
I would,
like I played Monster Hunter Worlds on PS4 and I loved it, but I loved it way more when I was getting way higher frame rates on the PC because it was choppy on the PS4.
To be fair, this is probably not out to what, next February, March or something like that?
Yeah. I would guess March, yeah.
So I mean,
I would also guess that it's probably going to be 30 FPS on console because it looks more open, similar to Dragon's Dogma. It's using the same engine as Dragon's Dogma.
Is it?
And Dragon's Dogma was 30 FPS on
This
console.
looks way better than Dragon's Dogma.
Good point.
So I was actually going to bring up Dragon's Dogma because I ended up getting it on console because I don't think you could preload it or something like that, and I was really keen to play it. And yeah, I struggled with it on console just because the combat just didn't feel as good as I wanted it to feel. And the irony was I played Dragon's Dogma 1 on PC, which was a way older game, and just having the extra frames made everything feel a lot better. And then having like all this stuttering and frame drops, I was like, oh man. And I just thought Dragon's Dogma 2 was a really good game. So yeah, that'd be nice as long as the PC port's not completely balked,
Yeah.
Runs
That's
well.
In the game, the only thing as someone who has wanted to play Monster Hunter for a long time, only barely touched Pride, would the co-op sort of indicate that it might have any different experience here, or probably be similar to
the
what it's
only
been?
little hint that we got of co-op in here was in this trailer. They did shoot an SOS, and then 3 people came into the world. So that's how co-op has been. I don't know if it'll be more seamless. It might be, because they're they're really harping on that this is going to be like more
Easier.
well, it's going to be more
accessible is what I meant.
Immersion. It's going to be more immersive. There's changing environments, like all the monsters react to the environments and the weather and all of this. It's really dynamic, and they're really going in the whole like it being a really immersive experience. So it could be that co-op is a bit more seamless.
Let's hope. It was a bit clunky in Worlds.
I just noticed that reading the blog, they were like, oh, you know, you can sort of switch weapons or whatever when you're out, and there's things you can do that you normally would have to like go back.
Yes. So, first things first. We'll just start from the beginning of the trailer, and I'll tell you everything that's new.
Okay.
So, at the beginning, right away, the Palico is talking in English, going, "Hiya."
I'm not okay with that.
And in the blog post, they do specify that Palico speak the same language as us. So Palicos are going to be talking.
So what's the law on that? Previous, they were just making noises. Now,
yeah. Well, previously also we as hunters didn't say anything, but now we are also fully voiced.
Great.
So do you reckon it's just like they could always talk, or have they developed the language?
Oh, like it'll be a lore? Like why all of a sudden they talk?
I don't know what the lore is about it. I assume the reason that they wanted to do it is to try and make it more immersive across the board, and you feel more connected to all of the characters and your character and the Palico and everything because they're talking to you.
If your character is voiced,
can you shut up again?
That could be because you generally have quite a bit of character creation or customization in these games, as well as Palico custom creation. So are you going to be able to select the voice, and are they going to have like multiple voice actors voicing all this different stuff depending on how you do it? And like, what if one voice actor is really good, one of them is just terrible?
Well, this happens even with like if you choose a character for the character's voice. I've watched some people's streams and their character is just constant. They get hit and they're like constant screaming nonstop. My character doesn't say a goddamn thing. The whole combat, she is silent. She's tired. She's sleepy. She wants to go home and eat. That's my character in the game. So yeah, we saw the Palico talking right away. Your character is also talking. So right away they're like, boom, here's the thing that's happening. We also get to meet the new handler, the new smithy, and a mysterious child who is going to be a big part of the story. So don't know what's going on with that. He's a mysterious boy for a reason.
I like the world's aesthetic too. Like I can't quite place what it resembles to me.
Anthem.
But I like it. Like it's kind of like a medieval kind of blend with, I don't know. It's got a lot of stuff going on. I like it though. Looks good.
It's almost kind of Final Fantasy.
It does have a little Final Fantasy to it. You're right.
I got some of that for sure. Airship.
Yeah. They do like their airships. And so right away, just within the first like 20 seconds, I was like, is this going to be a Monster Hunter with actually like a really good story? Because they're showing like the boy, like what you're seeing on screen right now, this boy, and kind of it looks a little dark, and I don't know what's going on with the boy. Maybe he's half monster. I don't freaking know. But right away I was like, this looks like a more in-depth, immersive story, right from the beginning of what I saw. And then we see you and your handler walking around on your new mount, which is called a Sacret. I'm gonna say it's pronounced Sacret until someone tells me no.
Is that the green chocobo?
What I thought.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've got your Palico on the back. Look at that. It's so cute. Look at that. It's adorable.
Yeah. What is
has that always been? This is the first time they've introduced mounts? ?
No. Rise had the ability to ride dogs. But this is not a dog. This is a Sacret.
It's a full-on,
right.
Sacred.
Yeah, this is different because it's got like it's holding a bunch of things for you as well. So yeah, that's gonna be your new mount.
Oh, it's like a backpack.
It's got everything, yeah. So for the first time ever, you're gonna be able to switch weapons on the field in Monster Hunter.
Really?
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
You're not gonna have to go back to base, enter another training montage.
I wonder how smooth that'll
Yeah,
be.
right.
Like, will I be able to like switch to them like for a combo, or will I have to like
I mean,
go
it
into
looks
a
smooth
menu?
on in the trailer.
Does it?
It doesn't look like you can't do it off of the mount. You're switching the weapons on the mount. So in the trailer, he'll switch to a gun and start shooting it from the mount.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
there's
then
like a
switch
few
back to
things you can
greatsword.
do on the mount.
There's a bunch of things you can do on the mount. Yeah, you can heal, you can sharpen. Partway through the trailer, they also show that he gets downed by a monster and calls the mount to come and pick him up off the ground.
Whoa.
Game changing.
That's kind of cool.
Very, 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 very cool. And they've also said
so
that
we don't know if this is like open world yet, do we? Don't know if it's like open world, or it's kind of hinting that it's open world because like the mounts and stuff, or like.
So the only
been
thing that they've
confirmed.
said is that there are locales. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not open world, because you might be able to go from one locale to another seamlessly. But all they've said about them is the locales are dense, deep, and 3-dimensional. The one that we see in this trailer is called the Windward Plains, and this is just a vast locale.
Yeah.
And that they have
it looks so good.
This locale has sandy deserts, swaying grasslands, and twisting rock formations.
And a big frog thing with a tongue that looks awesome.
Licky
He
tongue.
is called Chatacabra.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I call him Steve.
He's called Doshaguma, the one on the screen right now. That's Doshaguma.
Looks like a lion. Lion bear.
Yeah. He looks very
lion bear.
similar to Gosrag, but he's not called Gosrag at all. But he has a similar moveset and look to him.
Even if they could get
very
this
exciting.
running at 30 FPS smoothly on the PS5, I'd be really impressed, because this game looks sick. Like, you're just
It
beautiful.
looks
Maybe it's
incredible.
for PS4 5 Pro.
Why do you have to ruin everything?
Just saying, it'll run well on that. Actually, Watts or Myelin did, just for my own point of reference on game size, did you happen to play Horizon at all? The newest one, or even the old one? Dang. I was wondering how World compared, because World was open world, but I never really played it. It wasn't.
No.
No, it's like different biomes.
There's never been an open world Monster Hunter.
Oh, they're always okay. There you go. Because it looks open-ish, but I never really played it. I played a little Rise.
Well, it's World has quite extensive biomes and regions. Like, there's a lot of verticality to them, so each area is quite big. Like, even now, going back and having played so many hours, I'm still like, how the hell do I get over here? I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know, like, if open world really adds value if they're so dense. You know, like, if they have these locales that are similar to Monster Hunter World, like, I don't think anyone would complain, right? Like, there was enough stuff to do out there, and like, perfect examples like Starfield. Yeah, you can have an open world, but it can be completely barren and boring. Like, anyone would pick a dense area with lots of enemy variety, you know.
But
then all use not early elements.
I'm gonna say is Horizon is like a really kind of massive feeling open world, and like if they could get closer to that with these, and it has like these huge monsters in it, maybe similar or not to the Monster Hunter, but on that, like, I would be excited. It's really cool to explore sometimes, and it's cool to run in.
I think the difference between like Monster Hunter Worlds, or like their biomes, and like something like an open world like you'd see in Horizon, is how handcrafted every little bit of it feels. Whereas you never feel like you're just like running and then you run across a wall that you can't climb. You got to go around, or you're like bouncing off rocks trying to like, everything feels like very deliberate, but it can only be like that because it's smaller and handcrafted.
But I'm hopeful. I mean, I don't care either way. I do think it looks really, really cool. I just, stylistically, it's something that I want to play just by looking at.
It's going to the blog, they were very, like I said, harping on the immersion, changing environments, and they also mentioned that they want it to be a believable ecosystem of monsters, which I think they did pretty well in World, but they're taking it like way further. So they're saying that monsters act independently to survive. Hunters can expect to immerse themselves in a vibrant ecosystem of monsters living in nature. including large-scale monsters that move in herds, which is what we see here, where you're trying to like separate the big monster from the herd to fight them one-on-one. So they're really wanting it to be way more immersive and all of everything in the world feeling like it actually lives there, which I do think Monster Hunter does very well in general.
Yeah.
So to see them upping that is pretty exciting.
Yep.
All of the 14 weapons are coming back. They did go over a new thing that they're adding called focus mode. And this just says here that it allows you to have more precise control over how you guard, aim, and attack a monster's weak point. And they're also going to have specific focus mode attacks. So I think we see that in the trailer when he goes to like hold the monster's mouth open with the greatsword. It kind of, if you watch the trailer, you'll see that it kind of like zooms in a little bit. So I'm guessing that that's probably focus mode and a focus mode ability.
Oh, maybe.
Watts, did you happen to notice, do the weapons and the monsters look like they have more impact, like physics-wise than normal? Like, does it look like there's more interaction there? Like, a lot of times you just feel like you're swiping away at a monster, and they're not really...
I never feel like that in Monster Hunter. I've always felt that it's quite visceral and impactful.
What I mean, though, is like you can actually see the weapon. It feels like you can really see the weapon hitting the monster when he's fighting that lion. I don't know. It looks a little different to me, but I don't know if it'll feel any different or if this is just a very selected piece of trailer, you know?
It also is the greatsword, so keep that in mind. I don't know if you used the greatsword before.
I did, yeah.
I mean, presumably, though, it's years out, and it should be somewhat improved regardless.
No, I think
it's coming out next year.
The subtlety of it.
2025? What else was there? Oh, and then there was also, they just mentioned that you're gonna have a hook slinger. So this is a new version of the slinger.
Are you allowed to say that on YouTube?
YouTube probably not.
Gonna get us canceled.
You can use this to collect items from a distance, even while you're on your mount. And then some contextual actions using the slinger can also be activated from a distance. And then, they're saying you can also like sling it at monsters and stuff. But being able to collect items from a distance is pretty exciting. And then they just introduced the characters, which there's not a ton on them just yet. But they do have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Yozo Tsujimoto, taking the stage at Summer Game Fest Friday, June 7th, where they say they're going to start showing you some more footage and details. Brand new footage, new details of Monster Hunter Wild next Friday.
Yeah, I mean, if it's coming out maybe in February or March, it's going to wrap by the end of the year, basically.
I'm guessing
Should
March.
be in good shape by now.
Presumably. I think it's going to be March.
I can't wait for this game. I'm really excited for this. Rise for some reason just didn't connect with me, so I've been really waiting since World for the next one. I am gonna miss Eric's very much because he basically taught me how to play Monster Hunter World.
And, their channel's still there.
I know.
Their channel's there, and those boys play a lot of Monster Hunter.
Yeah. There were some other great looking games that came out, or the trailers came out at the Sony State of Play.
Yes.
I was surprised there were a couple of VR games. I'll be honest with you. I was starting to think
that's what you're gonna jump to.
I am.
He's the VR man.
I love VR. I thought maybe Sony was.
What's it called?
There's two of them. I thought Sony was just abandoning VR 2 here because I haven't seen anything out of them since the headset released. But Skydance's Bahamut looks sick as hell. It's like I don't know, I'd say like a sword and sorcery style, like action game. What's the matter, Fran?
Did you ever play Asgard's Wrath?
Yeah.
I was like, is it their answer to that? Is it anything like that? Because I've never played it, but do you think it could be?
It could be. I mean, I think the hook here is that you're playing a game in that setting, but you're playing it in VR. So you're like, you are controlling the sword and the magic.
Right. Well, that
with your hands.
But yeah, Asgard's Wrath on MetaQuest was talking
about. Oh no, I never played that. No, I never.
Yeah, no, that's like their big AAA, let's call it. So I was wondering if it's trying to sort of be an answer to that. But yeah, anyway, this is from the devs of Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. But you think it looks nice?
I think it looks cool. I mean, I like VR experiences like this, and the more immersive they are, the better. What's really scary though is they got an Alien game coming out in VR.
They do.
I don't know that I'll be up for this one.
Like, Rogue Incursion.
Yeah.
Alien Rogue Incursion.
Like, those movies are scary enough when I can just like look down at my phone and forget what's happening on the screen. Like, being glued to my face, like in that world, I don't know if I'll be able to handle it, but I love the Alien franchise, so I might have to try it anyway. I don't have a PSVR 2, but I'm gonna get one, I think, for these two games. They both look really good.
There hasn't, other than what, Gran Turismo and I don't know what else, there hasn't been a lot of reason to.
Yeah, I've heard Gran Turismo is great, but yeah, that's like the only thing they got, really.
Okay. VR just makes me sick. I really like VR, but I get a lot of motion sickness from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do get
I'm still
used
waiting
to it.
for the
Like
I need the treadmill. I need the 360 treadmill.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like, that'll make you less sick somehow, right?
Hopefully.
What I really liked is the Meta Quest, because you could go out in your yard and play it outside.
That does look cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
That seems like a real. Wait, let's pause. You go out in your yard, like, you can't see through it when you're playing, right?
No.
Yeah, you can. It's like an augmented.
Well, you can, like, you could set up a barrier so you can only walk like so far, and then it'll show you the outside world.
You gonna trust that?
Yeah, I mean, I do it inside. Why wouldn't I do it outside?
Fran?
What if there's like a wolf in your backyard? That's not gonna show up. It'll gnaw your leg off.
Aversion.
Can't you make it also? Can't you make it also do like a augmented reality, or is that something else where you can overlay?
See a little see-through.
Yeah, you can do that, but I mean, that's
see
gonna
a
definitely
person that you fight in the backyard, like with a sword. You know?
Oh, you might be
Or
able
is
to do
that
that. I don't know.
something else?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've just seen
specifically.
I've just seen people doing like medieval duels where they've like got an opponent they set up and they're just fighting in their backyard with like a sword with the Quest on or some sort of headset.
Astrobot coming back.
Yes.
But did you see the little Bloodborne in there, by the way, Sony?
No, I did not.
Sons of bitches. There's a little Bloodborne
sons
character
of
in there.
Why do you tease us like
what
this?
What are you doing? Stop it. Give us Bloodborne. Putting him in Astrobot? What are you doing? That's just rubbing it in.
Astrobots. I'm learning a lot today.
Dude, Astrobot looks real good. September 26th, 2024. It's basically more, while they have Ratchet and Jack and new franchises like that. Like, this is totally their Mario.
Yeah.
And it's looking real nice.
It's looking great. I mean, these
it's
guys
experience.
Make one great game after another. The VR Astrobot was fantastic. The one that shipped with the PlayStation 5 was fantastic. So this looks like it's going to be a much more fleshed out experience, like a bigger experience
this little
than
dude.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool experiences with the controller.
Mini games. Yeah, I thought they were just like mini games. So this is an actual game.
Yeah.
With the
He
bot.
was for PS5, right? Didn't you get the free demo thing or what? It was like
it was more than a demo.
It was but it was both, right? It was meant to introduce you to like DualSense features, but it was really good.
It was very good.
Yeah,
and
this
then
is full on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will probably be very cool because the controller is actually like a great piece of hardware when games use it properly. So I'm sure this probably is going to be pretty fun to experience.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
This looks like a full-on game, right? Like,
it does, yeah.
This looks sick.
And it is, yeah. I was just gonna say, I don't need a game like this on PC. This is a good example of like in the vein of Nintendo, where I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna harp on.
Want to play it on console? Yeah.
Yeah, like I waited for God of War now. Basically, it'll come out later this year on PC, as they also announced. But like I don't need this to do that necessarily. And like I'd love to.
Yeah,
play
this looks cute as fuck.
Controller.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did you guys see? Where Winds Meet?
Yes, Where Winds Meet is one that I've been keeping an eye on for a little while.
What kind of game is this, Watts?
It's like I believe it's open world action adventure RPG.
Okay.
I'll bring up the blog to make sure I'm correct about that. But it's a wuxia based game.
Yeah.
So if you're unfamiliar with what wuxia is, it's if you've ever watched like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Flying Daggers, like that kind of action where you kind of become a superhero martial artist.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna feel like. Like I can't really get a feel for.
It seemed to have Sekiro inspiration, but
Yeah.
fast with these wuxia inspiration. I don't know.
It doesn't look super Sekiro to me.
It's got a striking visual
I thought
style for sure.
stylistically, doesn't it? Isn't that the one that has the bell and there's also Ballad of Antara, which is
we need to talk about that.
Also has. I think if you watch again, like there's just moves in. I'm pretty sure it's this one, Winds, where Winds Meet, has just like some of that sword battle stuff, but it's definitely a fast moving game.
Right, so it's kind of got like monsters and stuff too, but like mythical. You're a martial artist, but not like super grounded in reality. You can do
look,
crazy
that's like an
stuff as well.
fight. Look at that. Totally.
Maybe you're looking at like the enemies or
just
like the
stylistically
thematics.
And
because I always think of
weapons.
gameplay when I compare them, and I'm like, this does not look like it plays like Sekiro at all.
Yeah, not like a parry system, as much closer to.
I mean, I think if you watch, you see some of that. It's just much faster. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's gonna play like Sekiro. I just mean I think.
I see what you mean.
I mean, that was straight up the game. And there's some other stuff. I feel like.
I mean, this is also Chinese, so.
Yeah, this is Chinese studio, so not a.
And it's
right.
Oh.
Like there are wuxia-based
cool.
games already, and they do tend to be pretty heavy. And even in the blog post, it says more intriguingly, you're going to be using these powers to solve puzzles and traverse vast landscape. But this is the one where I don't know if you guys saw the gameplay of it floating around, because I believe they had a beta for PC already.
It did, yeah.
Where people were throwing bears off cliffs with
Oh,
their
okay.
abilities.
All right. Color me interested.
Sign me up.
That sounds good.
Sign me up.
But this is it's set in the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms kind of period, so they are doing a little bit of historical stuff as their backdrop. But it looks beautiful. Yeah, I think it is a very beautiful looking game. But it says we hope you find the setting intriguing, rich, challenging, and refreshingly different. So
Okay.
We'll see.
So what's going on with Ballad of Antara?
Okay, this game. So everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's another Souls-like," which it looks Soulsy for sure. Souls adjacent, Souls nearby, Souls neighborly. They currently
you got me working hard today. Jeez Louise.
This is from Tipsworks Studios, and it's set as a action RPG title, brand new IP, and it's free to play.
Oh, interesting.
So I heard that and I was like, huh?
Yeah, it's got like multiple characters to play.
Yes.
It's a Souls-like that's free to play. Like, I mean, I'm interested. Well, they got to make money somehow. So where's the monetization in this?
So there are different characters. So we were talking about this is like how are they going to monetize this game? My best guess that I could possibly give is that you're going to have to pay for the characters, or there's going to be skins that you can buy. And they did say that they are going to be updating this game post-launch. So maybe it's a case of like a new character comes out, and they do specify that there is going to be new stories for all of these characters as well. So maybe you buy into the story and then you buy the new character.
It's not like a gacha game, is it? It's not like
it could be. No, it totally could be. They don't say that it's a gacha game.
It could be gacha mixed with Souls.
But it could be. It could be a gacha Souls game.
Dude,
that's dangerous. You keep that away from me. You keep it away.
Ricky Bobby, you don't bring that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
It does sound like that. I mean,
it could be
because these multiple characters.
Yeah.
It could be that you're pulling for new characters. They're called emissaries. They have your unique class, gameplay capabilities, and their own stories.
You know what pisses me off is that they've taken my favorite word, free, and they've turned it against us. Because now every time I hear that it's going to be free to play, I'm like, oh, it's going to suck the money out of me in like ways I haven't thought of yet.
Dude, totally. And just based on that, you gave me a great idea. I'm going to launch. I'm not going to tell you the details yet because this is a lot of money. I'm going to launch a bar with free-to-play beer.
Okay. Now we're talking.
But it's free-to-play beer.
Yeah.
It's not just a free beer. It's free-to-play.
Man, I'm just thinking now getting stuck on a Dark Soulsy boss and being okay once I get enough Crimson Stardust, then I can pull 5 new characters, and hopefully I'll get a god roll, big booty lady that's got an ultimate move that can take down.
What if they just charge you 50 cents every time you die?
So actual gameplay things about it. It does offer a single player campaign, single player narrative, but they also have multiplayer up to 3 players, so you can play it with your friends. And they say here this challenging land head on. And it does mention that there's story quests, exploration, and intricately crafted dungeons. So reading all of this, I'm like,
where's the catch? There's got to be a catch somewhere.
It could be a gacha game where, you enter the dungeons and it's got like an energy system and you can't enter the dungeons as much as you want. You got to use energy to enter them.
True.
Could be,
you got to get your energy up to enter. It's so lame, man.
Not only am I not going to play this on launch until I read a review, but I'm also going to wait till they fully release the monetization a month after the reviews come out.
Who knows? I mean, yeah, to be fair, we don't know all this stuff. And you're right,
we don't know the monetization
in our mouth a lot. I would ask, I'm curious if you guys can come up with anything other than, say, Fortnite, who I think has proven just like kind of a high level. Like, you can do free to play and Apex, sure, but those are battle royales. Like, are there any games you would point to of like, man, truly free to play game that had done a really good job? I just struggle. I don't play Warframe. One of my folks in the chat brought that up. But
yeah, people bring up Warframe. It's like pay for convenience stuff in that game.
Any others that you can even think of?
Genshin, Wuthering Waves.
Oh, is
like any of those games. Wuthering's free, yeah.
So it does a good job. Like, it doesn't feel predatory.
Was Apex? No, Apex. The finals, was that free?
Yeah, that was free.
Oh, finals is pretty good.
Yeah, didn't feel predatory.
I don't feel like
it was just skins and battle passes. I think just skins and battle passes.
Because like you can do all of the content in Genshin with all the free characters that you get, so I don't feel like that's predatory.
But just to illustrate the point, I wouldn't say we come up with a lot of them, so that's why I'm skeptical.
Well, so yeah, this is another thing I was thinking as well. Like, when we hear free to play, we expect a very specific kind of thing. So maybe they're doing a whole different type of monetization that we don't know about. Like, maybe they are doing a thing of like, the game's free to play, but there's a bunch of costumes for your characters. And when a new character comes out, you have to buy the new character to experience the new story. And maybe that's their monetization. And like, I'd be fine with that. But yeah, we just have no idea. The only thing they say is that they hope that it grows with us for years to come, and that they're going to be showing more of the game later this year.
So. I mean, I just think, like, why can't I link my credit card to my characters? Every time I die, it just immediately bills me, and I just get resurrected. You know, that's the kind of convenience that I want in my free-to-play games. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
what if I could take a small loan out with like a little bit of interest on it, like something like a 20% loan? You know, get a nice monthly payment going.
Yeah, how about a die over time feature? That's what I'm looking for. You know, I've died a lot, but I don't want to pay for it all today. What if I could pay for it over?
I don't want pay to win. I want pay to live. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm dead, I'll pay money and come back to life.
Just come to America. It's pay to live here. Healthcare. If
sure
you can't afford it, you're dead. No.
I love that idea. Actually, you just don't die. It's like the cheat mode. You just pay for it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Game looks cool though, man. I'm very curious. Yeah. So apparently,
it does
the
look
studio
cool.
They did a game before, which was a mobile Souls-like, which they then brought to PC.
Well, okay, so how did they monetize that then? Mobile Souls-like.
So when I looked the game up on PC, it's called Pascal's Wager, and this game is not free. So it has free DLC, but the game isn't free. So maybe they're flipping it. The game is free, DLC is paid, whereas before it was game is paid, DLC is free. Maybe they're just flipping it. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right.
Yeah, and again, it's not that it can't have some good benefits. So let's wait and see.
We'll wait and see some news because I was certainly like, I am scratching my head in terms of monetization for, let's say it's a Souls-like story narrative driven dungeon game.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about from Sony's State of Play today?
I would just say rapid fire. God of War Ragnarok coming to PC September 19th. It will feature full frame gen, super wide, ultra wide. It's the same studio that did the first PC version, I think. Unlocked frame rate. That looks really awesome. So it comes with Valhalla, the DLC. Until Dawn is coming out in fall 2024, PlayStation 5 and PC. Path of Exile 2, actually, the sort of Diablo 4, called Killer.
I totally missed the 2 on the end of that.
Yeah, that is the full sequel that we're still waiting on Unreal Engine 5. Going to have cross progression, early access late 2024. And Silent Hill was in there on October 8th, that being the Bloober team, remake of Silent Hill 2 that we've been talking about.
Yeah. Dynasty Warriors Origins, in case you want to find out how it all began.
Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, freaking Omega Force. I was like, wait, Omega Force? This has to be Dynasty Warriors. It is indeed Dynasty Warriors. They're making a new Dynasty Warriors game.
It looks exactly like old Dynasty Warriors, but now on PS5.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
That's what Dynasty Warrior fans want.
I played that game till like 3 a.m. in the mornings through my youth many a time. This is not from the PlayStation thing, but something that has been sneaking up on me. Do you guys like Left 4 Dead?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Back 4 Blood as well. Big fan.
I know what you're going to mention. You better say it properly.
Vermentide 2 is introducing a versus mode, and it's just gone into alpha mode right now, and I'm just downloading the game as we speak because I'm going to boot it up and give it a shot. Because, I mean, it's basically what people wanted from Back 4 Blood, but
right.
Left 4 Dead to go PvP, go through the campaign. You have survivors. You have a team of monsters taking them out.
I played a bunch of Vermintide 1, but I just didn't get into Vermintide 2.
Space
that comes
Marine,
out in September, right?
Yeah,
that's coming up soon.
Space Marine 2.
That's also got PvP as well, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
Just for clarity, man, are you saying it's asymmetrical PvP? There's a monster. Oh, okay.
Well, like Left 4 Dead, where you have some 4 people go as zombies, and that you could be like the Exploder or Stalker, whatever the names are, I can't remember now, and then 4 people are survivors, and they're got to make their way through the map. Or it's like that.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
9 Souls. Didn't that come out today?
9 Souls came out yesterday.
Yesterday, my bad.
Yes. Right. I did play 9 Souls. I didn't get super far in it, but I have played the demo before. Check out freaking 9 Souls, man. This is one of these games where you see the art. You see the art on Twitter or something, and you're like, man, when do I get to play a game with art like that?
Today.
Well, this is that game.
You get to play today.
This is that game. The art is absolutely incredible. It is a Sekiro-inspired, deflection-focused combat, hand-drawn 2D action game.
Yeah. Very cool looking.
It's currently $26. It's really good. And it's very lore rich too. It's like there's a lot of lore and a lot of story, and it's very gruesome. It's like very gory, and I'm really interested in the story and the world. So I definitely will be playing more of it.
Yeah, we played the demo way back too, and it was I just remember it was a lot of fun.
Sure. Yeah, it's very, very cool. I will be playing more for sure.
It's getting pretty late.
Excited to see the story.
So is there anything else we want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think that was Monster Hunter Wilds blew my mind.
Yes. It looks real good.
And we get to see more in like a week.
I wouldn't dig into it. I think it's worth saying that PlayStation also on top of this had its business conference stuff. And if you didn't catch it, they did say like live service games, will be coming day and date on PC. They talked about some strategical stuff about how they're looking at their studios. So, maybe we'll touch more on that in the future. But that was big. Like if you always are waiting for PC stuff, well, live service stuff like Concord, you're going to see it. But they're basically saying no, like, whatever, let's say God of War 3, if that's a thing, you're probably not going to see that day and date. That's not like a news.
No. And people were memeing on that. And I'm like, I totally get it. And it would make a lot of money if it did come day and date on PC. But I'm like, however, I'm part of the problem because I will always be a gamer that has a PC and a PS5. Yeah. Because I really like PS5 exclusive games, and I want to play them when they first come out.
Yeah,
it's just so much of a better living room experience than the PC right now that I'll I'll keep doing consoles. Like
Yeah.
I just.
But they're doing it just for the money. They said they're like, oh, we make $700 in additional revenue with each PlayStation sold on average. So that's why they don't make any of that if they sell you a PC. So
yeah,
right.
That's why.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna hold off on Twitter questions. I'll try and add some of the best ones into next week's because it is getting very late. Thank you all for asking them though, and we won't ignore them. Next week's gonna be a banger show though. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna have the final shape finally releasing. It's gonna be a big day.
We're gonna be playing it live on the show from the sound of the way things.
It's
be
possible.
honest.
It's possible.
It's possible.
We might be grinding some stuff in the background. Yeah.
I mean,
everyone set up your OBS so you can share your screen, and we'll just have us.
Just have 4 people
playing
grinding Destiny in the background.
That'd be fun. That'd actually be pretty funny.
There was one episode where we did it. We just did the raid while we were doing the podcast,
really?
And we never mentioned that we were doing the raid until we had to fire the rockets at Crota.
The Crota, yep.
And all of a sudden, you just hear Holtzman say, "Fire rockets."
That's crazy.
It was fun.
Next week, it's the final podcast before Final Shape. So join us next week for the Final Shape hunt.
That's right. Thank y'all for joining us. Myelin, great to see you, man.
Yeah.
That was fun being back on.
Great seeing you, Myelin.
All right. Bye. We'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Bye.